And welcome to Sydney Parade, home of Pembroke Cricket Club, for the Rario T20 festival here in South Dublin. And this morning it will be the Munster Reds against the Northwest Warriors. Well, we had no play yesterday. The rain washed us out. Didn't stop until the evening. Finally the play was called at about 2:45 in the afternoon after a lengthy day under the cloudy skies. But today, thankfully, a little bit brighter. No warmer though. It's a chilly day with a north wind, and we're all ready to go. Our groundsman there, Dale McDonough, has done a fantastic job in getting this Pembroke pitch and outfield back into pristine condition for today's cricket. And Munster Reds against the Northwest Warriors. The toss took place a few minutes ago, and our own Craig Senior was out in the middle.
Well, welcome to the middle. We're here for the toss. I'm joined by the match referee Phil Thompson, captain of the Munster Reds PJ Moore, and captain of the Northwest Warriors Andy McBride. Andy, you have the coin. You're the home team today.
It's heads the call. Tails it is. Lovable.
So won the toss and chose to bowl. Any particular reasons behind that?
It's been a bit of coverage probably for the last 36 hours. Obviously we were in yesterday, so we feel there's probably a wee bit of moisture in the wicket earlier on, so we'll try and take advantage of that as much as we can.
Well, let's hope it dries out during the day anyway. Any changes to the side this morning?
Same thing.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much and the best of luck. PJ, wrong call today. What would you have done if you'd won the toss?
I definitely would have had a bowl again as well. It's been under covers for the last 24 hours or so, so it would have been a good opportunity to come out and bowl. But that being said, we've got to go out and bat and get some runs on the board.
Well, you got a good total on the first day. You'll be hoping to get there or higher again?
Yeah, I think something similar, maybe a little bit higher. I think we left a few out there. A bit more responsibility on the top order to take it deeper. We're probably a batsman or two short at the moment with our current Munster side, just due to some injuries. So big responsibility for the guys at the top.
And any changes in your side from the side that played on Tuesday?
Yeah, we've got Byron coming in from Munster, and Cian did his shoulder in the last game, so yeah, he misses out.
That's a shame for Cian, but very best of luck today, and hopefully it'll go well for you.
Thank you.
Well, that's the toss, and we'll go back to the commentary now. Thank you very much.
Yeah, unfortunate injury that for Cian Egerton, who went bravely trying to save a boundary and landed on his shoulder very heavily. So he's out of the action today, and young Byron McDonough will get the chance for the Munster Reds. What do you think about today's matchup, Sean? Pride only for these sides to play for now.
Yeah, good morning, Stephen. Good morning, everyone. Absolutely, it's only pride at stake, but when you're playing at the Interpros, you always have to be thinking of enhancing your reputation, particularly for international honours. Though it's a bit gloomy, it'll be difficult batting conditions early on. Once the Reds having lost the toss, I think there's no doubt it's a ball first day. Well, Murray Cummins was in beautiful form on Tuesday, and we know the class of PJ Moore as well.
Yeah, Murray Cummins knocking 62 off just 37 deliveries on Tuesday. Munster Reds making 167 for 6, which we thought was a pretty good score. The sky was a lot brighter then, the pitch looked to be playing well, but in the end Leinster Lightning knocked those runs off in jig time, winning in 15.1 overs, 171 for 4, won by 6 wickets. We saw some great batting in that first match, and then the second match, by contrast, Northwest Warriors all out for 78, and the Knights 81 for 5 in reply, winning with 7 overs to spare. Two very different games.
Yeah, and I think batting conditions completely changed the second innings when that pitch dried up a little bit on Tuesday. You could see Graham Hume, who's going to open the bowling here, getting serious bounce, and indeed Craig Young when he came into the attack.
Yeah, Graham Hume got 2 for 9 from his 4 overs in a desperate attempt by the Warriors to try and make it difficult for the Knights. He bowled the first 4 overs from this end, and he's going to start again as the Northwest Warriors about to get us underway. As you see, won the toss, elected to bowl, and it's Young with the first delivery. And it's uppish towards shortish point, but didn't quite carry to the fielder, and already a problem for the batters.
Well, I think this could be a theme of the early morning, in particular with that moisture having been undercovered for all of yesterday due to the heavy rain, and a lot of this morning as well. Dan McDonough was up early, making sure the place is in order for cricket. But there definitely will be a bit of moisture on the wicket, and you could see early PJ Moore hitting the shoulder of his bat.
So Hume will be full of optimism here. Good length delivery, not much that Moore can do with that one, except dab it down. Good attacking field from the Warriors. They've got a slip in. Power play, of course, first 6 overs. 2 men out, 1 at backward point, 1 at backward square leg. And the breeze very much blowing towards the cameras. Hume firing his deliveries into that wind. And a bit of a flash there from Moore. Quiet start to this T20, which was unfortunately clinched by the Knights yesterday because we had no play. All the sides got 2 points, and that means that they are the champions for 2023. But as you were saying, Sean, lots of pride at stake here, lots to play for all these players.
Yeah, PJ Moore getting off the mark as well. I think that's what they're going to have to do early on, the Munster Reds. Pick the singles, wait for that boundary delivery, because it may well be the worst time in the day to bat. Just that pitch being undercover. And Graham Hume, so good at this. He bowled beautifully on Tuesday. And I was surprised Craig Young didn't open the bowling, particularly with it being such a low total to defend. I wonder if we'll see him open the bowling today. If he does, he'll be coming from the Wheelfield Road end of the ground with that wind at his back.
3 on the offside, 3 on the leg side on the single. 1 slip in for Hume. Turned to mid-wicket. Cian Robertson, the fielder, run through for a quick single, which gets Cummins off the mark. And that's a little bit uppish too, towards Robertson in the covers. Didn't quite carry though. Just signs maybe that the pitch is a little bit slow as Hume ends his first over. Just 2 singles off it. 2 for no wicket after 1.
Yeah, that ball just sticking in the pitch a little bit. It's going to be difficult to get your timing. I think it could be one of those days where a batter gets used to conditions, they have to cash in for their side. Looks like it's going to be very difficult starting in your innings, particularly early on for Moore and Cummins. So they might just have to take some responsibility in the opening few overs.
Ryan Macbeth is going to open the bowling with the wind at his back. Does that surprise you a bit that Craig Young hasn't been given the new ball?
Well, I don't mind this more than I did on Tuesday when they were only defending 79. Macbeth, very successful at opening the bowling. We've seen it a lot for the Northwest Warriors, and if there is any movement, you may well be able to find them. Coming down wind, and the wind maybe coming into the batter, might be able to move it back into him.
Cummins, the left-hander, turning that one backward of square, and it's away for the first boundary of the morning. Past the fielder who was inside the circle.
Yeah, just too straight for Macbeth. Maybe a hint of movement, as I say, with that wind enabling him to bring the ball back into the left-hander. And a nice shot by Murray Cummins, who seems to be in good form.
And that's turned backward of square two, but there is a man there on the cover, so just the single this time. Munster Reds go to 7 for no wicket after 8 deliveries. They'll be looking for a solid start. Always important not to lose too many wickets in the power play, and have plenty of wickets in hand for the onslaught at the end. Although it's not the kind of day for that kind of cricket. Very chilly, only about 15 degrees in Dublin today. And that very cool wind, making it feel even a touch below that. Oh, nice delivery from Macbeth, just moving it away and beats the outside edge.
Yeah, and this is why Ryan Macbeth does open the bowling, because he can find that movement. Very unlucky not to get the outside edge of PJ Moore. That's why the slip's in place. Andy McBride.
Andy McBride captaining the side. It was Shane Getcate who took over from him when he was on Ireland duty. That's straight to the fielder at point, no run.
I think it could be one of those days if you're the batters in the Munster Reds changing area. They're probably saying to these two, please stay out there for a number of overs.
Just played into that gap in the covers for a single. Moore with a nice little shot. 6 off the over so far. 8 for no wicket.
I think it'd be interesting to see whether this pitch spins later on. We saw Matthew Humphreys take 5 wickets here on Tuesday in the second game. He was speaking after the game, the player of the match interview, about the assistance from the pitch. Wonder if that's something we might see later on in the day.
Yeah, defending such a small total. Cian Robertson didn't get a full bowl on Tuesday. He just got 2 overs, got 1 for 12. So that's the end of the second over. 8 for no wicket. Moore on 2, Cummins on 6. Macbeth's first over goes for 6. And it's going to be Graham Hume to continue.
Be also interesting to see when Andy McBride does bring Robertson into the attack. Someone who may well like these conditions. Had a great start to his career since moving to the Northwest. Even though he plays his club cricket in the Northern Knights. It was up in Breedy ahead of that game earlier on in the season of the IP20 where the move happened overnight.
Great length from Hume. Getting that little bit of lift off this pitch. Still a bit of life in it, despite the fact that it's been very cool and moist here in Pembroke Cricket Club for the last few days. Oh, lovely delivery. Just left him a little bit. PJ Moore struggling a bit here, just 2 off his first 10 deliveries.
Yeah, brilliant bowling from Graham Hume. These are his conditions. I'm sure when he woke up this morning he would have been praying that his captain Andy McBride won the toss and bowled first. But if you're PJ Moore, I think you've got to use your feet. We saw the Northern Knights batters early on try and do that to Graham Hume, put him off his line of length. It's at the moment Hume is honing in.
Again, the ball rising off a length. Hume so accurate, he gives the batters so little to hit. Just 2 singles off 9 deliveries now. But he'd be looking for a wicket or 2.
Yeah, again, it's just that length delivery that pops off. And it's difficult for PJ Moore. He's got to be thinking he has to score as well. So good down the ground, particularly leg side. Just like to see him maybe shuffle across the stumps.
6-3 offside field for Hume. And he's keeping it on that line, just on or just outside the off stump. Wonderful accuracy.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful bowling from Hume. But this is where in T20 cricket, although it is extremely difficult batting conditions and the ball's doing a little bit with getting assistance from the pitch, I do feel like PJ Moore just has to do something. Maybe give himself a bit of room through the offside, because he's getting bogged down here.
A little bit straighter, that delivery. But there was a bit of movement, I think, off the pitch.
Well, this is where we mentioned at the start of the innings how running between the wickets might be important early on. All of a sudden, Graham Hume is on for a maiden here in the third over of a T20 innings in the power play. Now he's bowling well, and I know it's difficult for PJ Moore, but he just has to think outside the box.
So can he complete the maiden here? Oh, he certainly can. Another wonderful delivery. I think I stand to be corrected. That's the first maiden we've had this week. Don't remember a maiden over in either of the games on Tuesday. So great bowling from Graham Hume. Just 2 runs off his 2 overs. And the Reds bogged down at 8 for no wicket after 3.
Well, he had similar figures on Tuesday. But the only criticism you'd have there of PJ Moore is a lot of those deliveries from Graham Hume have been in the same area. And it's high quality bowling to be able to produce that. But as a batter, now that he's at the non-striker's end, I'm sure he'll be thinking, just why didn't I change it up? Maybe come down the wicket, shuffle across the stumps, just put him off his line and length, because there's no way a bowler can be able to bowl an over like that.
And it just puts a little bit of extra pressure on Cummins here, who will feel like he has to score a bit quicker just because Moore hasn't.
Well, that's what batting and partnership's all about, and these two know each other very well. PJ Moore will be hoping Murray Cummins can get him out of a bit of bother early on. But just think, they've missed a trick so far, the Munster Reds, with how they've gone about things.
Mistimed that one, Cummins, and just got away with it. There was a half an appeal for LBW, but well wide of the stumps, just a leg by. Will bring Moore on strike. Probably good for these two batters to exchange ends, get the score moving.
That's how difficult conditions are there. If you're Murray Cummins, you've just watched balls pop off a length from the other end, and that one keeping a little bit lower. A little bit similar to the dismissal of James McCullum on Tuesday. Wonder what PJ Moore will do here as he try and use his feet, give himself a bit of room.
Well pitched up and thumped towards the boundary and crosses the rope in front of the pavilion. Solid shot from PJ Moore, moving him to 6. Cummins on 6, 13 for no wicket.
A good shot from PJ Moore because it was pitched up. Ryan Macbeth looking for a bit of movement. He was fully committed to it. Didn't get all of it because of the commitment. Was able to get enough on it for a boundary.
Quite a short boundary on that side. Batters always aware of that kind of little advantage that they might have. And that's just played gently into the gap. And just a single this time for Moore. He goes to 7, 14 for no wicket. Both these sides losers on Tuesday. Northwest Warriors falling to the Knights by 5 wickets. Munster Reds losing to Leinster Lightning by 6 wickets. So both these sides will really want to finish their week with a positive result. That's a fine shot. Murray Cummins down the ground. One bounce for 4. In fact, it's gone all the way. First maximum, effortless from Murray Cummins. That'll help the Reds.
Wonderful shot from Murray Cummins. Just uses his feet. And he shuffles down the wicket. Good shot. What they needed.
And that one's gone down the leg side and past the dive of Steve Doheney. 4 byes, or was it signal wides? I think it was byes. Yeah, 4 wides. End of the over. Could have been wides.
He may well have got a
Little touch on it, maybe.
Yeah, Murray Cummins, and again Ryan Macbeth a little bit expensive in his second over. Saw that on Tuesday as well. So good from Murray Cummins there. 4-1-6-4, 3 boundaries in that over.
15 runs plus the leg by, so Munster Reds will feel better about themselves after 4. 24 for no wicket. A run a ball so far. Good start from them. Most importantly, they haven't lost a wicket, and it's Craig Young who's going to take over at this camera end.
It's a brilliant opening spell from Graham Hume with his 2 overs, none for 2. But I feel like a bit of the pressure has been released in that over. I'd be hoping Craig Young can build on what he's already done. Hume from the St. John's End.
And that's up in the air, and there's a fielder underneath it, and it's out. It's the first wicket. PJ Moore not able to get the timing right there, and it's caught by Scott Macbeth in the covers, and Northwest Warriors have the breakthrough. First ball of the Craig Young over, and it's 24 for 1.
Well, straight into the action and picks up a wicket of Moore. That's been a very disappointing knock from him. 7 from 17 deliveries, and you can see what he was trying to do. Only the fielder at deep point out on the offside, looking to do what he did to Ryan Macbeth early on. But a good catch.
Yes, well judged by Scott Macbeth. Solid start for the Munster Reds. But there's just 2 overs left in the power play. You can see lots of sawdust required at the far end. Nathan Maguire, the new batter, plays his club cricket with Rush. Scored just 6 on Tuesday against Leinster Lightning. He'll be hoping for a better innings today. Slip still in for Craig Young. Very much an offside field. And that's come off the shoulder of the bat down into that vacant third area. A boundary for Maguire, but not too convincing.
Yeah, well, we mentioned how difficult it is going to be starting on this wicket. Straight away you can see Craig Young squaring up Nathan Maguire. Off the shoulder of the bat again, flies away outside edge for 4.
That'll give Craig Young lots of encouragement, though. You can see that the batter isn't that comfortable. That's a quick delivery. Straight to Cian Robertson in the covers. No run.
Just wonder when the ball gets a little bit softer later on. It just will be easier to bat on. At the moment it seems like that ball's flying off the pitch, particularly from the extra pace from Hume and Young so far at this end of the ground.
That one stopped as well, and it's come off the shoulder of the bat again. Deep cover coming in, couldn't quite reach it. Just a single to Maguire this time, who has a rueful grin in his face as he chuntered with the bowler coming to the non-striking end.
Yeah, it is not easy out there starting early on. Nathan Maguire showing that Craig Young's bowled a good over. Bowler friendly conditions, of course. Both sides would have wanted to bowl first today.
Shane Getgate and Graham Hume coming across just to have a couple of words with Craig Young. A little change in the field here with the left-hander Cummins on strike. Both deep fielders are on the leg side boundary now, one behind square, one at mid-wicket. And that's gone into that square leg area. Cummins just gets the single off the inside edge. He moves to 17. The score goes to 30 for 1.
Yeah, good bowling for Craig Young, because we know Murray Cummins' strength through the offside, his prowess there. Putting two fielders back on the leg side and bowling straight, attacking lines to Murray Cummins. Big boundary out towards the railway tracks here.
That's a clever shot. Maguire just paddling it over the top. Very good play. Looks easy, but very difficult to execute that shot correctly, and that'll make Maguire feel a bit happier.
Wonderful shot from Nathan Maguire, final ball in the 5th over. Gets into position early, knows what he wants to do. Craig Young tried to follow him. That's great hand-eye coordination from Nathan Maguire, steering it over. Slipping wicket keeper.
34 for 1 after 5 overs. There's the situation. Cummins starting at a good lick again, 17 off 9 deliveries. Maguire with that boundary has moved along to 9 off 4 after Moore struggled to get the bat away, to get the ball away. Change coming for the Northwest Warriors, and it's Jared Wilson going to bowl from the far end, taking over from Ryan Macbeth. Macbeth, who went for 21 runs from his 2 overs. With just 1 over left in the power play, I think Munster Reds will be very happy to get to the end of the 6 overs, losing just 1 wicket, if they can do it. For their part, Northwest Warriors were probably hoping that they would get a few wickets in this power play.
Murray Cummins will feel like he's missed out there with fine leg in the circle. Just a chance to help it on its way. Interesting again, 2 fielders out leg side, cow corner, and a deep backward square leg, so they're going to ball straight again to Cummins.
That's down the leg side as well, and again the arms of Paul Reynolds are extended. Steve Wood, rather, my apologies to him. Paul Reynolds at square leg.
That's the difficulty when you're coming into the attack and you want to bowl a straight line. You can just stray down the leg side, of course the wind coming across him as well.
That's smashed away. You could hear that off the bat. Beautiful timing from Murray Cummins, who moves to 21.
Yeah, good shot from Murray Cummins. We've already seen him shuffle down the wicket to Ryan Macbeth. This time to Jared Wilson. Beautifully struck. All of a sudden Wilson's under pressure.
2 wides and a boundary, and still 5 deliveries in the over. And that's just hit the stumps at the other end. Otherwise it could have gone away for a couple. Just the one for Cummins this time. 22 off 11. He's batting at 200. And Wilson struggling to find a dot ball in his first over.
It'll be interesting to see what way Nathan Maguire goes here, where he looks to score.
There's 3 inside the circle on the leg side and 3 on the offside. Maguire just fending that one away, having a look to see what Wilson is doing. Ian Robertson just warming up in the covers. We could be seeing him bowling soon. And that's away backward of square and has too much pace. Running away to the boundary. Maguire getting his third boundary of the innings. And it's 45 for 1.
It's just the power from Nathan Maguire to full delivery. It's a real power. And timing beats the man in the deep.
11 runs off this Wilson over and still a couple of deliveries to come. That was better. Straighter. Good length. Too good for Maguire.
Has to find a way now, Wilson, of trying to get out of this over. Has to try and find his best delivery. The one that is the hardest to hit for a boundary.
So this is the last ball of the power play. Again, Maguire plays it just a little bit late, but he gets the run. And at the end of 6 overs, Maguire on 14, Cummins on 22. Munster Reds will be happy enough with 46 for 1 at the end of the power play. And it's time for commentary change as we welcome Craig Senior and John Kenny.
Thank you, Stephen Alkin. And good morning, Craig Senior. I know we saw you earlier on doing the toss, but not the warmest, is it?
No, it's not. Fresh day in Pembroke, although cloud cover seems to be breaking up. A few spots of blue. Hopefully the sun will shine through.
Yeah, that could be the hope. So 46 for 1 at the end of the power play. Munster has to bat today. PJ Moore, the man out for 7. Murray Commons made 62 the other day, with Nathan Maguire was out for 6. Obviously looking to better that score. Craig Young continues. Good to see Craig Young back as well. He had major injury problems over the last while. And Ireland will need him. They've got one-day internationals to come against England. They've got T20 internationals indeed to come against India later this month. 3 in Malahide. Let's hope the weather plays ball with us. It's dropped. Played backward of square. And the man down there just couldn't cling on. Had 2 hands in the air trying to catch it on the left-hand side. It's a difficult thing to do. You'll see it here on replay, but it's a chance that perhaps should have been taken.
Well, the bat gets thrown at this one and it's lifted. And the fielder is there, but as you say, never set. And trying to take it off to the side. Most difficult type of catch to take. And on this occasion, Wilson unable to hang on.
Jared Wilson down there with a little teapot, sugar bowl, whatever you would like to call it. Not happy with that. Neither will the bowler. Should have taken that. It's a difficult thing to do, as you say. It's not coming into the chest. It's actually, you have to take it up on a... And it's coming at you fast as well. You've got to put your hands up and try and catch it and grasp it together. But at this level, that should have been taken.
Yeah, he had no solid base underneath him when he was trying to take the catch. He was actually both feet off the floor. Makes it very difficult.
Swing and a miss. Craig Young bending his back on that particular occasion. As you say, Craig, it's starting to brighten up here. It was a little cool this morning. You were here yesterday, and disappointing days and all waiting around for everybody to try and get some action. We didn't have any action, and as a result of that, the Knights are the champions. paddle around the corner. There's nobody down there, and that's going to go all the way to the boundary for 4. That's soft and easy pickings for Murray Commons.
Well, Young missing the line he wanted on this occasion. Cummins, he's had a couple to go down the leg side on him at the other end, but on this occasion he managed to help it round the corner. Nothing was going to stop that. 4 more onto the total, and it's 50 up now for the Munster Reds.
Final ball then of the 7th over. Again, that's pushed around the corner, and this time it's taken. Nice catch from Wilson. He's happy man too, having dropped one 2 balls ago. This time he comes in from the boundary. That was a difficult running catch to take as well. Second wicket falls, the score on 51. Commons is out for 26, and Young gets his man to end that the over. It's 7 down, 51 for 2 now.
Well, that was redemption for Wilson, and Young will be happier as well. Again, just trying to bring it round the corner down towards the Willfield Road gate, but on this occasion Wilson got himself underneath it. Far easier catch. He'll be delighted at having such a quick chance to redeem the drop catch off the first ball of the over.
Well, as we know, every one of these players out on that pitch have dropped catches, so they don't generally tend to remonstrate with their fellow pros, but Wilson would have been disappointed in dropping that, and you could see the delight on his face as soon as he snapped up that next chance. So Ali Frost is in. Very good opening day. 61 from 32 deliveries. Ali Frost, the man from Malahide. He's joined Nathan Maguire in the middle with, at the end of 7 overs, Munster Reds being asked to bat are 51 for 2 now. And we're going to have spin for the first time this morning.
Well, our co-commentators this morning were wondering how soon it would be before the introduction of spin.
Robertson on from the nursery end. He's making a little adjustment in the field as well. In fact, he's moved Jared Wilson a lot squarer on the leg side. You can hear the wind whipping across our microphones here. Breezy day. Wind slightly coming into our faces. It's changed around in the last couple of days. First day it was whipping across the ground from left to right. And towards the latter part of the day it was actually blowing away from us. It seems to have changed once again. Reverse. There's a man down there. Should cut this off. They're going to come back for the second. Chance the arm. Good running. And 2 to Frosty's off the mark.
Frost taking the first single very quickly there, gave him the option for the second. He took it on. Safely home for 2. He'll be happy to get off the mark anyway.
Keane Robertson continuing. That's cries of catch it. Just couldn't leap high enough. McClintock, the ball's gone over his head. Don't know if he got his fingertips to it. Let's see that in a replay, but that was close. Frost perishing. Excuse the pun.
Well, that's exactly the sort of delivery Robertson wanted. It got to the man. He could only get one hand to it. Went past him and ran away for 4. It shows that there will be opportunities for Robertson to take wickets here this morning.
He got his fingertips to that, but couldn't prevent it from going over the boundary ropes either. Maguire 16 from 11. Frost has continued on his merry way from that 61 from 32 deliveries in the opening match. Starting to wall up here, which is great. Hopefully we get a full day's play. And the reverse. and that's gone. Nice catch, actually, down low at backward point. And Maguire perishes on 16 with a score on 59. So 59 for 3 now, and you did say that the spin may be the one that to get the wickets, and Robertson strikes.
Well, on this occasion, Maguire thought he could just paddle it round the corner with the reverse sweep, but he got a bit aerial on it. That sees the end of Nathan Maguire for this festival. Beautiful catch just above the ground by Scott Macbeth. That's his second catch of the morning.
Yeah, not a huge amount of runs from Maguire. Just the 2 matches, obviously, with everything rained off yesterday. He scored 6 in the opening game and now 11. So, not a great couple of days for him. And Tyrone Kane is coming in, a vice captain. Young then to continue from the commentary box end, and that's pumped down the ground. Forlorn chase, I would have thought. Yeah, Fielder having to pull up as the ball races down that hill. That's good from Frost.
Well, this is an absolutely super shot. T20 or longer format of the game. Driven through the covers. Well, contender for shot of the day anyway. Oh, good start to the over for Munster.
Slip in place. Good comeback from Young.
I think Munster will be pleased enough with the start. The 3 wickets lost are unfortunate, but going along at a good rate.
Yeah, anything approaching that 8 runs per over is a good start. Just don't want to lose too many wickets too quickly. You add 2 wickets to that and then they're in a bit of a pickle. Good from Young. Squeezed out down to third for a single.
John said, in light of all the upcoming fixtures for Ireland, great to see Craig Young back.
Yeah, this is going to wrap up the IP20 series. We know the Knights are the champions. Congratulations to them. They've on 27 points. The Warriors are on 18, so they can't be caught. Just a game each to play. 4 of those matches actually were no results, so it's 2 matches called off yesterday, and they wipe out, I'm afraid, up in Breedy for the second series. Slow ball right up on the lock hole. Kane did well actually to dig that out. Yorker length. After today, we will move into the last series of games for the T50s. And starting on the 14th of August as Leinster take on the Warriors. That'll be up on the hills before we move for 2 games down to Cork on Tuesday and Thursday, the 15th and 17th of August. It was a great pleasure to go to the Mardyke and watch those games. That ends the 9th over, and Munster, having been asked to bat, are 64 for 3.
Well, having lost 2 wickets in 2 overs, you'd think that Munster have a little bit of rebuilding to do. But with 9 overs gone, rebuilding can't take for too long.
A success for Keane Robertson in the previous over. Got rid of Nathan Maguire for 11. Smartly caught by Scott Macbeth down at his toes, his backward point. Run rate just dipped away a little bit, down towards 7, but still it's whipped away. There's 2 down there, but they won't cut that off. Graham Hume and Jared Wilson between them, unable to cut that off. It just fairly flew down the hill and over the boundary ropes for a welcome 4 for Munster.
You can just see how quickly Frost is onto this one. Sees it on length, decides to sweep. Well, that bisected the 2 fielders almost perfectly. Another boundary.
There's a batting card at the end of the 10th.
Well, Robertson was hoping for a bit more help from the pitch. When he came on to bowl, finding it a bit more tricky.
And Kane off the mark. It's getting a little bit gloomy overhead now. We've had a little break there for a moment or two. We got a peekaboo sunshine, but it's disappeared behind the clouds again, as we've had right throughout July and sadly into August as well. The weather in Ireland not great. That's pushed into the leg side. I could have thought about a second there, but I thought better of it. Two right-handers out there, Frost and Tyrone Kane, just having a little difficulty getting away. Just the 1 run off his 5 deliveries faced so far, Tyrone Kane. Uses it into the leg side and will keep the strike, maybe. No, they're not going to chance the arm. And so that ends the 10th over. So the Munster Reds, asked to bat at the end of the 10th over, are 72 for 3. And this is their batting card. Moore bowled Young, one of 2 victims for Craig Young. Scott Macbeth and Jared Wilson taking catches to get rid of both of those. Nathan Maguire didn't hang around that long for his 11. Robertson's only victim so far. Nice catch down by his toes from Scott Macbeth. So 10 down. They are on 72 for 3. And the bowling figures?
Well, the Warriors already into 4 bowlers. 5 bowlers used. Craig Young, well, he's taken the most wickets. He's picked up the 2 wickets. And he's been quite economical as well. But Graham Hume's opening spell, well, that was line length personified. Really did find a groove and stay in it. Just 2 runs from his 2 overs. I'd say quite unlucky as well not to have picked up a wicket or 2 in that spell.
So a change of bowling now, and for the first time we'll see Jared Wilson, medium pacer, from the St John's end. It's a bit of a loosener down the leg side, and umpire Paul Reynolds, no problem there with stretching the arms out and giving it as wide.
Well, Wilson bowled his first over from the nursery end. It wasn't particularly successful for him, so his captain's now brought him down to the St John's end, hoping to get use of that fabled ridge. Although the groundsman will tell you there is no ridge there in Pembroke.
I don't think the players believe him. Yeah, Wilson, we did see him from the far end, so the first time we saw him from the St John's end. Expensive in his first over. Oh, it's in the air. That's going to fall short. Batsman didn't know much about that. Nathan Maguire just basically ducked his head as he put the ball up in the air, and fortuitous not to be caught.
Well, Andy Frost was never really in control of that shot, but he got away with it. Didn't carry down to the fieldsman. Picks up another single. Safety of the non-striker's end.
Now the track he comes, but it didn't time that. He looks a little out of sorts this morning. Just the 4 runs from his 8 deliveries faced so far. That's okay in the context of a longer form of the game, but not in T20. Can't take long to settle. Frost, though, doing all right. 19 off his 11 faced. And that's in the air, and that's going miles. That's a big 6.
That appeared to land in the car park. I wonder whose car that was.
Don't. Please don't. Just one step down the track he went, and as soon as it left the bat, everybody knew, including the bowler, that that was going all the way.
Well, of course, we had the situation a few years ago. Kevin O'Brien put one into the car park through the window of his own car.
I was here. Yeah, I was here for that. That was during COVID times as well. I remember interviewing him with a long pole with a microphone at the end of it, so we couldn't stand closer than 2 meters. So standing at the other end of the pitch here at Pembroke, I just came down for the afternoon, and then suddenly it was newspaper headlines. Irish International wrecks own car. Good job he had a deal with a car manufacturer so they get able to fix it for him. And they got plenty of publicity out of it too. Oh,
well, that shot is definitely from the, if you're going to flash hard.
Sliced away.
Ended up down by the Wheelfield Road gate. 4 more onto the total, 4 more for Frost. And if nothing else, Frost attacking the bowling like this is taking some of the pressure off Tyrone Kane.
Yeah, it's not good figures for Jared Wilson. Switching ends. It hasn't paid off so far. Slashed away there. And this time he bowls. Had a shot on the leg side, so they're going to come out for the second. Other note. Tyrone Kane says to Frost to don't turn and run for the second, so that ends the 11th over. 87 for 3 now. Frost on 30, Kane on 4. He's doing that watching role at the other end as Frost plunders the bowling. And he did so likewise the other day, 61 from 32, but 87 for 3 at the end of 11.
Well, as John said, the change of ends for Jared Wilson didn't really work for him. 0 for 27 from his 2 overs. And now we see another change of bowling at the nursery end as the Northwest Warriors skipper, Andy McBride, will be coming on and going around the wicket. Slight delay as they move the sight screen, or the double sight screen.
First came into our conscious in 2015 at the World Cup, down under. A real blink and you miss it kind of bowler. He gets through his overs very, very quickly. And he's taken over from Robertson at the far end. So spin continues at the nursery end. And Frost, you might think about getting after him, but it's not an easy man to get after. Here's McBride. Well, that's nicely played. Rocking back onto his heels and whipping it into the leg side for a single.
Well, the Warriors just have the one fielder inside the ring on the leg side, and that enables the batsman an out clause, I suppose. If they see the big shot isn't on, you can just push it out to the leg side for a single.
Kane down the track, it does exactly as you suggested. That's Clintock's got to come an awful long way in, and Frost slipped, so there's no chance of the second. Right, going around the wicket now to the right-hander, and down on one, and it's just gone over the fielder down there. The man has been very much involved in this game, Jared Wilson. He couldn't stop that, and that's gone all the way. That's a lovely shot from Frost.
It's favouring the shot to the leg side. On this occasion, the fielder was in exactly the right position. Just the fence. The rope was 2 metres too short for the Northwest Warriors.
And now they can't find the ball out of shot. The sun starts to peek through. Yeah, they eventually have found it. Frost moves to 37. It's a lovely shot, that. Premeditated, down on the one knee. Whipped it round the corner and over Wilson's head. Surprised McBride's actually bowling around the wicket to him. Just wonder what the thought is behind that. Of course, if he'd been caught down there, it would have been setting the trap. And it didn't clear Jared Wilson's head by much, in fairness. Maybe just trying to tuck him up. Maybe doesn't want him to free his arms, because he's very strong on the offside. Tries to catch it. You don't see any maximums off Andy McBride's bowling. And Tyrone Kane, who's been bogged down just a little bit, gets the maximum, and the 100 comes up.
Again, McBride still coming round the wicket to both batsmen. On this occasion, Tyrone Kane, well, he may have struggled up until now, but he found that one with the full face of the bat. And now he's scoring it at more than a runner ball.
Down the track he comes again, and that's gone many a mile. That's the biggest hit we've seen now today, and maybe even the last couple of days. They may have started slowly, but Tyrone Kane joins the party. He's gone to 17, 108 for 3, and we've ended that over of McBride's, but a lovely shot that.
This time, Tyrone Kane using his feet, getting to the pitch of the ball, and then, as you say, with timing and power, longest hit of the day so far. Still only gets 6 for it though. But as far as the Munster Reds are concerned, well, this is looking very well. Run rate up to 9, 8 overs still remaining, 7 wickets in hand. It's not often you see Andy McBride's figures of 1 over going for 21 runs.
Again, as I say, I was surprised he was coming around the wicket. It just gave Kane and Frost a chance to stop whipping into the leg side. As you said, there's only one in the ring on the leg side, so basically free rein. So he may take himself off. 108 for 3 then, as we start the 13th. Ryan Macbeth. Good start. Beats the outside edge.
And again, another change of ends for a bowler. Ryan Macbeth opened the innings from the nursery end. Now coming on at the St John's end, as the Northwest Warriors really looking to stem this torrent of runs.
Tries to catch it. Oh, can't get there. Dives over the top of the ball. That's gone all the way for 4 from Frost.
These two came together in the 9th over. And here we are in the 13th, and they've already put on 50 runs. And the assault continues.
Jared Wilson's been a busy man down there. Oh, that's a gift. That's gone all the way as well. Just a swivel of the hips. Onto the back foot. Frost. And he's getting close to his half century now. That's a beautiful shot.
Well, Beth going a bit shorter, but not short enough. And Frost was onto it very quickly. And he's put it over the rope, over the fence, and into the gardens. It could be a moment while the umpires get the next ball.
Yeah, Mrs. McGuire down there mightn't be too happy to see another ball landing in her back garden. So a change of white ball.
She may be putting together quite the collection of cricket balls at
well
this
be.
stage. Feels that fence on top of the wall over there could do with being another 3 or 4 metres high.
Well, Mrs. Pemberton down the far end, the nursery end, must have a load of them as well. So there's a lot goes into those gardens. Frost too shy of his half century. Run rate is suddenly cracked up. There's one of them. Takes him to 49.
Well, we thought it was going to be bowler-friendly conditions. Pitch having been under covers for well over 24 hours. The amount of moisture that fell yesterday, precipitation extraordinaire.
Swing and a miss from Tyrone Kane is on 17. Got a lot of credit to the ground staff here as well. There was an inordinate amount of rain again yesterday to add to what we've had already in July and the beginning of the month. They've done a really good job to get everything prepped for today's match to get us off on time as well. Warriors against the Lightning is the second match. That's 3:30 Irish time to wrap up the IP20 festival and the series itself. That wasn't the worst ball in the world, but it was dispatched by Kane straight down the ground to end the 13th over. 123 for 3 now, the Reds.
Well, skipper Andy McBride now. He's got a few questions in front of him as we just see the last ball of that over. Again, beating the fielder with the pace of the delivery of the shot. 1, 2, 3 for 3 after 13. And Ryan Macbeth, another one who won't be looking back on his figures with any great fondness. 0 for 36 from 3 overs now.
Well, McBride has taken himself off, no surprise there. That's smacked all over the ground. 3 maximums from the previous over. 21 he conceded. So start the 14th over, and Frost just 1 shy of his half century. It's getting there in double quick time. Just 21 deliveries for his 49 so far. Scored 61 from 32 the other day. So he's looking at now back-to-back half centuries. Keane Robertson coming on now again from the nursery end to replace the luckless McBride.
Well, exchanging one spinner for the other.
Couple of changes in the field that pushed down 2 men to long on and long off. It's a good start from Robertson. Just that little nervousness they're going to be trying to push on Frost because he's 1 shy of his 50. I'll get a few dot balls in here if they can. Oh, that was fortunate. Well, that's one way to get to the 50. If there was a slip there, he was gone. Thick outside edge, rolls away for 4. Robertson kicks the ground in frustration. Frost, 53. Rode his luck on that occasion, but overall, a very good knock. 53 from 23. Well done, Ali Frost. Back-to-back half centuries. That's how he did it. And now back live, where he takes another single around the corner, moves to 54. Good performance from Frost. Back-to-back half centuries. He's certainly batted well. Tyrone Kane, slow start, but he's starting to motor now. Nearly chopped on. You can see what Kane was trying to do there. Craig, he was attempting to come down the track and then stopped. And in the action of doing that, he nearly chopped on.
Polymader's just going past the stumps, but you could see he just wanted to push it past that one fielder on the offside. Another edge. An over of edges.
That's been a good over from Robertson. A bit unfortunate. That's Frost got to his half century with that thick outside edge. Last ball then of the 14th over. And it's a welcome dot ball. So 130 for 3 at the end of 14. Frost on 55, Kane on 22. Munster Reds asked to bat. Change of commentary. Craig Senior and myself will step out. Sean Hussey and Stephen Alkin will step in to bring you to the conclusion of this innings.
Been a difficult morning for the Northwest Warriors. Some very aggressive batting from the Munster Reds, but a little bit of luck hasn't quite gone Northwest Warriors' way. They've bowled some good deliveries without getting some wickets that looked like they might have been coming. And now with 6 to go, 130 for 3. Great platform this for the Munster Reds to have an onslaught.
Yeah, most definitely. It was difficult early on, Stephen, but they've managed to get themselves back into the game. Ali Frost being in brilliant form. So good on the sweep against the slow bowlers. And Tyrone Kane's chipped in with a couple of big sixes as well.
Swing and a miss from Ali Frost. We haven't seen him miss too much today. Scoring at a healthy rate over 200. 55 off 26, just following on from what he did on Tuesday with 61 off 32. And Jared Wilson, very expensive in his opening 2 overs, 27 going off the first 12 deliveries. Swung his arms at that one, and that's gone high over cover. Another 6 for the Munster Reds, who are steaming along here. 136 for 3. Frost moves to 61. More woes for Wilson.
Yeah, too much width for Ali Frost. Throws his hands at it. And goes all the way. Flies for 6 off the face of the bat. So the Northwest are under pressure.
4th 6 of the innings for Ali Frost. And that bit of a cross-bat swipe gives him a single to mid-wicket, and he moves to 62. Kane on 22. These two came together when the score was 59 on the last ball of the 8th over in 6.3 overs. Do the maths. They've scored a lot of runs. 78, I think it is, between them. Well, toss straight down the ground. Shane Getgate running in, but it's fielded by McBride. Just a single.
Yeah, this has been a very good partnership. 79 runs now in quick time. It just shows you how difficult it was earlier on. It did feel like it was going to be the hardest time to bat in the day with that pitch just with the covers taken off it.
Here's another fiercely hit shot, one bounce away for 4 through extra cover. Fine strike again from the man of the moment, Ali Frost. And another very expensive over from Jared Wilson.
Yeah, brilliant shot again. Too much width. Opens his body up. Stays leg side of the ball. Gives himself room to free the arms.
Well, Hume still has a couple of overs left. So Craig Young has 1. That'll be surely 3 of the last 5 overs. Robertson has bowled 3 as well, 1 for 23. The most expensive bowlers for the Northwest Warriors have been Jared Wilson and Ryan Macbeth. And you have to give credit to the Munster batters. They're feasting on some very inaccurate bowling. There's a really wide one again, and that's found the gap. And it's away for 4. Frost moves to 70, highest score of the week so far. 146 for 3 after 15 overs. Kane on 23, playing his part in this fine partnership.
Well, that was almost a carbon copy. It certainly looked that way, didn't it? Again, frees the arms. Moves to 70, moving through the gears nicely. Jared Wilson's had a difficult day, dropped the catch earlier. And has been very, very expensive.
There's the batting card. Good news if you're a Reds fan. Cummins with a quick 26. Maguire played his part in the early running, but Frost is the man of the moment. 70 off 30. 233 he's batting at.
Yeah, Wilson has been very expensive. Just the 1 over for Andy McBride, which featured 3 sixes. Graham Hume was outstanding early on. All that maiden in the 3rd over. And Craig Young picking up 2 wickets. Cian Robertson's going to bowl his 4th and final over now. Figures of 1 for 23 so far. This has been a wonderful partnership for the 4th wicket between Kane and Frost.
Just 13 shy of a century partnership. That'll be their next target, I would say. Robertson will have other ideas. That's high. And it's cleared the rope. Another maximum. This time from Tyrone Kane, his 3rd 6.
Yeah, this is clever batting from Tyrone Kane. Knows 45's in the ring. Gets into a good position and gets it over that man. Another powerful shot by the Munster Reds.
Well, we were wondering about how this wicket would play given all the rain of yesterday, and it certainly seems to be playing very well from the batsman's point of view.
Well, it definitely has dried out from earlier on when we were getting that little bit of uneven bounce. Doesn't seem to be as much spin as on Tuesday. May well be something we see later in the day.
Just a single that time from Kane. He moves to 30. Frost on 70. Couple of players at short 3rd and backward point. Big gap at mid wicket. Batsman thinking about 2, and Kane says no. Just a single this time to Ali Frost. 71 to him, 30 to Kane, 154 for 3. Wickets, that's what Northwest Warriors need. The 7 wickets in hand here for the Munster Reds. They can really have a go. And there's an appeal there, and the finger goes up from umpire Steve Wood, and Robertson gets the breakthrough. Kane, LBW to Robertson, his 2nd wicket. He's got 2 for 31 now. Kane out for 30, and this magnificent partnership of 95 is broken in the 16th over. It's 154 for 4.
Well, he's played his part, Tyrone Kane, hitting 3 sixes, but it's almost been second fiddle as well. He seemed to gesture to umpire Steve Wood that he may have got a little bit of bat on it. Goes for the reverse sweep. And I think that looks an easy decision for Steve Wood. He had no hesitation.
Well, a bit of encouragement for the Northwest Warriors. Kane, LBW to Robertson, 30 off 19 deliveries. Didn't always look fluent in the innings, but backed up Frost at the other end. And a great partnership for the fourth wicket for the Munster Reds, who've got just over 4 overs to go and will probably be looking at a score around 200. From this position, they're in a really good situation. They should be able to kick on here. Well bowled by Robertson. Six off the first ball of his fourth over, but he's come back strongly, and that's great fielding. A third by Young to save the run. At the end of Robertson's spell, he's got 2 for 31 off 4 overs. And the Munster Reds, after 16, 154 for 4.
Brilliant bowling from Robertson. Can you consider some of the carnage happening around him? Very good over, especially after being hit for 6 early on in that over by Tyrone Kane.
And now the re-emergence of Graham Hume, who's got 2 overs left. 7 he'll bowls overs 17 and 19.
Well,
Craig Young still has 1 more left.
Well, it was in very different bowling conditions earlier on with that newer ball. Almost felt like the rat race with Graham Hume. You was just wondering when he was going to get PJ Moore out.
Matt Ford, the new batter, and he gets off the mark. Little nudge into the vacant mid-wicket area.
But this is probably the part of the game where, from an Ireland point of view with Graham Hume, you're probably hoping he gets better at. We know how effective he is, particularly when it's bowler-friendly conditions and the ball's moving around. And even in the middle over of games, you saw that against Bangladesh in those one-day internationals back in May. But certainly bowling towards the end of the innings, probably something we want to see improvements from Hume.
That's off the shoulder. What a catch! Diving catch from Stephen Doheney. And that's the end of a magnificent innings from Ali Frost, who was just trying to play it down to third man. Hume is back and he's got the breakthrough. Look at his figures, 1 for 3 off 2.2 while all the carnage was going on with the rest of the bowlers. But it's 155 now for 5. Frost goes for 72 off 32 deliveries. Oh, my apologies, it's Matt Ford who's out, my apologies. Ford is the one out for just 1 run.
Well, it feels like Hume's been bowling on a different wicket to the rest of the Northwest bowlers. It's a wonderful catch from Stephen Doheney to his right. But Graham Hume's been magnificent, particularly when he's hit that back of a length. It's so difficult to try and score off. And he gets his reward. His first wicket, bowled beautifully early on. Troubled PJ Moore in particular. And this time he gets rid of Matt Ford.
Liam McCarthy, the new batter, batting at 7 in the absence of Cian Egerton, who's injured today, can't play with a shoulder injury that he picked up in the first game this week. So McCarthy moving up to 7. And Hume with a very deserved breakthrough for the Warriors. Still 3 overs and 4 balls to go. And that's off the edge. Nobody at slip, and it's away for a boundary. Snicked away by Liam McCarthy. 159 for 5 now.
What a spell this is from Graham Hume. coming back in. He's having a wonderful day with the ball. I feel like he nearly had a second there. Genuine edge. He's just found a little bit of movement. He's hit that line and length superbly well.
Oh, you always feel like there's something going to happen when Graham Hume has the ball in his hand. McCarthy hits it solidly, but straight to McBride at cover. No run.
Well, I'm sure there'll be people asking maybe why didn't Graham Hume ball an extra over in the power play earlier. Obviously it's an easier decision with hindsight. We actually saw it yesterday in the 100 with Shaheen Shafreedi getting wicket with the first 2 balls and being given an extra set, and it didn't quite work out.
Well, being a Monday morning quarterback is something that we all do at times, but it's not so easy for the people making the decisions out there in the middle.
I just feel though, maybe with how well he was bowling, I think Andy McBride would want an extra senior seamer if he was going to give Hume that extra over. But he's bowled beautifully.
Following on from his performance yesterday, 2 for 9 off 4 overs. Today, there you go, 1 for 8 off nearly 3. That's in the air, but there's nobody there. That was Young coming in from the mid-on boundary, couldn't quite get there. Single to Frost, goes to 73 at the end of 17. Hume has 1 for 9 off his 3 overs. The score has gone to 161 for 5, McCarthy on 5. Just 3 overs to go. Now who's going to bowl over number 18? It looks like it might be Ryan Macbeth.
Yeah, and I think this is the over the Munster Reds are going to need to target, especially with Ali Frost on strike. Hume has got another one, and then Craig Young, you'd imagine, will ball the 20th and final over. So this, the 18th, may well be the one that Ali Frost targets. Field placement is so important.
Beth has already gone for 36 of his 3 overs. Can he stop the carnage here? Frost will have other ideas. Snicked fine for 4. McClintock was around at 45 degrees inside the circle. No chance of cutting that off. Yet another boundary for Frost. He goes to 77 now.
Well, again, you can see what Macbeth is trying to do. He's got 3 men in the deep on the leg side, all in front of square. So he's trying to ball straight, and Ali Frost gives himself a little bit of room. Macbeth looks to follow him, and it's an easy boundary for Ali Frost. Moves to 77.
8 4s and 4 6s in this knock. Very impressive. Just got to the pitch of that one, and he's pushed it into the leg side. Can they go for 2? No, they're going to just take the 1. So it'll be McCarthy on strike now. Frost to 78, the score to 166 for 5.
I'm sure Ali Frost was thinking of coming back for 2 there. If you don't come back, you leave McCarthy on strike. This is the over. You do think Macbeth, Liam McCarthy, well able to find the boundary options. Left-hander hitting to the shorter of the 2 boundaries here, leg side towards the clubhouse, particularly at Cow Corner, and he's got the bit of breeze helping him.
Nice little paddle shot round the corner, and that's away for a boundary. McCarthy gets the 4. He moves to 9 off 4 balls, and 9 off these first 3 deliveries of Macbeth's final over.
Yeah, clever from the Munster Reds. Well, they know that this is the over. They've got to go and keep going. Brilliant shot from Liam McCarthy. You could see him slip. Side of the pitch still a little bit wet. A wonderful shot Pressure again on Ryan Macbeth.
He tries to do it again, and this time it's caught. It's Graham Hume. We can't keep him out of the game. Coming in from backward square leg to send McCarthy back to the dressing room. McCarthy out for 9. Caught Hume, bowled Macbeth, and the score goes to 170 for 6 in the 18th over.
Clever bowling from Ryan Macbeth. Lou McCarthy probably went a little bit too early. The slower ball, always harder to get that over the infield with the lack of pace. A good low catch from Graham Hume. McCarthy goes for 9. Once the Reds lose their 6th wicket, the score on 170.
Well, the wicket's starting to fall, but the total is going to be a pretty stiff one here for the Northwest Warriors to chase. Still 14 deliveries. Mike Frost, the next man in. Very much an all-rounder.
He's got to try and get his brother Ali back on strike. Ali Frost has to be thinking he's got to face the majority of the remaining deliveries.
3 men out on the offside here. And Macbeth beats him outside the off stump. Hasty delivery with the wind at his back. Mike Frost trying to get bat to ball. Every run counts as Munster Reds try to set a really good target for the Northwest Warriors to chase. And that's straight through past Mike Frost, and a good finish for Ryan Macbeth, picking up the wicket and a couple of dot balls. But he ends up, after his 4 overs, with 1 for 45. Mike Frost yet to score. Ali Frost having a really good inning, 78 off 35 deliveries. He's been the main man for Munster Reds. And it'll be Graham Hume coming back to bowl his last over, the 19th of the innings.
Yeah, well, the flag's up on the roof telling us that Ali Frost is going to be hitting with the wind towards the wall. So Hume has been good so far, but can Ali Frost?
Where's that gone? Straight up in the air. It's going to fall, I think. Wicketkeeper Doheny just taking it on the first bounce. Cian Robertson and Liam Doherty were coming in from that boundary over there, but I don't think either of them saw the ball really. Went up a mile.
Yeah, went straight up in the air. Stephen Doherty covered the ground well, just couldn't quite get there in the end. A little bit fortuitous from Ali Frost. I just wonder if they could have actually ran 2. I wonder if that was poor cricket by the Munster Reds. Should have realised the wicketkeeper had his gloves on. And now Mike Frost is on strike.
Yeah, some of the running between the wickets by the Munster Reds has been quite cautious. They've turned a lot of opportunities for 2 into just 1. But 171 for 6 and still 11 deliveries to go. Mike Frost has got that one away. I think he was trying to play it to leg, but it went to Willie McClintock down at third man, just a single. He's off the mark. Puts Frost back on strike now against Hume. Good matchup this. Hume on Tuesday, 2 for 9. Today, 1 for 11, 4 deliveries to go. And that was good movement on the crease. Great play by Ali Frost. And he gets the first boundary off Hume's bowling today. And he moves to 83.
Yeah, terrific batting from Ali Frost. It really is, because that's the short part of the ground, and he's got the wind. So goes early, gets across the stumps. And I just think the Munster Reds, they haven't done enough of that to Graham Hume's bowling, putting him off his line of length. That's wonderful from Ali Frost. 17 away from what would be a sensational century.
Hume wasn't going to get hit again. Good delivery, lots of accuracy and great lift out of the wicket. And for once, Frost can't get his bat on the ball.
Yeah, clever from Graham Hume. Just pulls his length back ever so slightly. And a touch wider.
1.2 overs to go. Run rate currently 9.43. Can Frost help the Munster Reds to 200 here? That's gone straight up in the air. Maybe a chance. Ryan Macbeth. And he's got it. Frost felt he had to go for it. 83 is his final total. Hume gets reward for some fantastic bowling. 2 for 15 for him now. And a fine catch by Ryan Macbeth. And that's the end of a great innings by Ali Frost. 83 today, 61 not out on Tuesday. He's in fine nick.
Absolutely sensational from Ali Frost. 10 fours and 4 sixes. And this is how he fell. Good bowling from Hume again. Short of a length. And a really good catch. And a big wicket for the North West Warriors. Ryan Macbeth with a good catch. Ali Frost goes for 83 from 39.
Look at that strike rate, 212.82. 10 fours, 4 sixes. Fabulous knock in difficult conditions here in Sydney Parade in this penultimate Rario T20 of this festival, coming to you from Pembroke Cricket Club in Sydney Parade in Dublin. Munster Reds trying to eke out a few more runs. Josh Manley is the man who has come in at number 9. So 2 new batters at the crease, just what the Warriors would have wanted. And there's going to be a single here. Mike Frost setting off, the ball thrown to the bowler's end, but Josh Manley is in. He keeps strike. That's the end of Graham Hume. Another wonderful spell of T20 bowling. 4 overs. 1 maiden, 2 for 14, was it? 16. 2 for 16 after 2 for 9 on Tuesday. And just showing us why he is one of Ireland's best bowlers.
Yeah, brilliant from Graham Hume. And particularly when he came back there for the last couple of overs. Always a question mark. Now it was easier earlier on to eat perfect bowler friendly conditions. But he came back well at the death.
So the final over of the Northwest Warriors attack will be bowled by Craig Young, who's got 2 for 20 in his 3 overs so far. Can the Munster Reds get just a few more runs on the board? Currently striking at just over 9 and over. It'll be a big total for the Northwest Warriors to chase. This could be an exciting match. We haven't had too many in this Rario series where it's gone right down to the final overs. Great ball from Craig Young, beating Manley outside the off stump. Five balls to go. 5 out on the boundary, just 4 inside the circle. Back to ball, it's in the air, and McBride is under it, and that's the end of Josh Manley. The wickets tumbling here at the end of this Munster Reds innings. And for Craig Young, his third of the innings. 3 for 20 now from 3.2 overs. Manley's out for 1. It's 177 for 8.
Another wicket for Craig Young. And a fairly soft dismissal from Josh Manley. We're down into the bowlers now. And that's why that 18th over of Ryan Macbeth, that's why the Munster Reds tried to target him. You've got 2 international bowlers bowling the final overs here. Craig Young just using his experience, hiding it outside the off stump. And a safe catch, and an easy catch for Andy McBride.
Good comeback from the Northwest Warriors. That's thumped straight down the ground and past the fielder at mid-on. A boundary for the Munster Reds. And the score goes above 181. 181 for 8.
Oh, what a shot from Ben White. Was in the slot, wasn't quite full enough from Craig Young. Smacked back down the ground, past the man along on. Welcome boundary.
10 out of 10 for effectiveness, maybe 4 out of 10 for style marks. And it's all about getting the bat in the ball, like you said. He just moved his feet to leg there, Ben White, and beaten outside the off stump by that pacey delivery.
And there was an immediate change in the field after that previous delivery, where Craig Young found the boundary, long on, was brought into the circle and fine leg put back out to the fence. There we'll see a little bit of short pitch bowling from Young just to cut out the boundary option.
Second last delivery, and White showing just too many of his stumps there, and bowled by Craig Young. Wonderful bowling. His 4th wicket of the innings, and off the penultimate ball of the Munster Reds innings, they find themselves 9 down for 181. White bowled for 4.
Yeah, that's the final delivery from Young. And he's hit the jackpot, crashing into middle stump.
White bowled Young for 4 of 3 deliveries. 181 for 9. I have to say, I thought there was one more delivery in the over, but looks like the fielders have gone off. So over must have been called. So that's the final score for the Munster Reds, 181 for 9. And a really good comeback by them. It was looking desperate with Ali Frost smashing the ball to all parts of the ground. But a great fight back, especially from the 2 experienced bowlers, Graham Hume and Craig Young, picking up a few wickets at the death. And keeping this total to probably a gettable target. Be interested to see how the Warriors get on.
Well, everyone's looking at this because the umpires are going, look like they're going back out to the middle, because Lee McCarthy came running out to umpire Paul Reynolds. I think just letting them know that there may well be another delivery. And the Northwest Warriors are sitting down.
Yeah, the umpires are still out there. I'm surprised they haven't gone to summon the Northwest Warriors fielding side back out for this final delivery, because we're pretty certain there's only been 5 in that final over.
Well, Craig Young's not happy there, and neither is Boyd Ranking. Still only annoy the Northwest. I'm wondering what the confusion was. Miscount from the umpires. Craig Young's on it. Have to come back out.
don't see this very often at this level of the game. Of course, we have the benefit of the graphics on the screen and the fact that we're getting all of the information right up to the second. So it's going to be Byron McDonough coming out. He'll have to face the last delivery of the Munster Reds innings. Be a bonus if they can get anything off this final delivery from Craig Young, who's already got 3 wickets.
Well, he's actually, with that Ben White dismissal, gone to 4, so he'll be eyeing up a 5-per here, Craig Young. Now, he would have been a little bit annoyed to be asked to come back out and bowl. Well, he may well pick up a 5th.
You ever seen anything like this before?
No, not quite at this level. And normally, well, the rule of thumb is that if the umpire calls end of over or end of play, that's the end of that. So I don't think the Northwest were too happy. You could see Boyd Rankin in the back of your shot a little bit earlier with Craig Young. Seems to be a little bit disgruntled. I think if this goes for a boundary, Craig Young will be seething, but he's on for a 5-fer.
And fair play to McDonough. He's got his bat to the ball and they're going to go for a second. And they're going to get it too. Credit the young man from Cork County coming in to get an extra couple. He gets 2 off his 1 delivery. Mike Frost at the other end, 1 not out. And now we have played the 20 overs. And 183 for 9 after 20 overs is the final score for the Munster Reds. And a very good total it is too, illuminated by that wonderful Ali Frost innings. 83 off 39 deliveries, aided by Kane in the middle overs with 30 off 19, and Cummins with a solid 26.
Well, Craig Young in the end picked up 4 wickets, 4 for 26. Keane Robertson bowled beautifully with 2 for 31, and Graham Hume early on 2 for 16. Well, those figures don't show you, but he bowled a maiden in the 3rd over. He was 0 for 2 after 2 overs. Beautiful opening bowling from him. Macbeth and Wilson expensive, as was Andy McBride, whose 1 over went for 21, including 3 sixes.
Well, the key partnership, the 4th wicket between Ali Frost and Tyrone Kane, who put on 95 runs. But there's the match summary. The Munster Reds, 183 for 9 in their 20 overs. And it'll be a pretty good total for them to defend with the Northwest Warriors innings coming up shortly. We'll be back for that. Do stay with us. Come back to us if you want to see more of this Rario T20. We'll be back in about 10 minutes' time.
And you're welcome back. Well, we finally got those. That last ball bowled from the Munster Reds innings. They took the players off the pitch and then brought them back. And 2 extra runs were scored. Took the total of 183. So Munster asked to bat 183 for 9. So the Warriors will need 184 for victory here in this penultimate game of the IP20 series. Craig Senior along with John Kenny as we bring you commentary on the Warriors' reply. Well, Craig, it's a decent total.
Well, we spoke at the toss with both captains, and PJ Moore said he was looking for 20 odd more than they'd scored on Tuesday. Tuesday, of course, playing Leinster, they scored 167. He'd felt that they'd left some runs out there. They didn't this time. And they've set a stiff target for the Northwest Warriors.
Manley bowling from the St. John's End. 2 batsmen there. They're unchanged, the Warriors, from their last match when they were bowled there for 78. Having been asked to bat, just made the 78 runs against the Knights. In the end, the Knights got over the line. It's a different game, this one. Liam Doherty and Stephen Doherty, the opening batsman for the Warriors. Doherty, the wicketkeeper. And a good start from Josh Manley.
Well, following the pattern of the first innings straight away, opening bowler, finding a good line and length and a few dots. They'll be looking to just see off, similar way to the Munster Reds, put down a good base. Will help them chase down this 184 that they require.
This is a very good start from Manley. We did see a very rare maiden in the Munster Reds innings from Graham Hume. He's 4 deliveries so far, and they've all been dot balls. So good start from Manley. Doheny and Doherty looking to get off to a decent start to chase down this very big total of 184 for victory. And the leg side. That'll spoil the figures. So what did you make to that 1 extra ball, which wasn't bowled originally? They called the end of the over. And the scores on our screens as well had 19.5 overs. Haven't seen that before, really, at this kind of level.
You've often seen cases whereby the umpires miscount, or one of them, they check with the scorers to see how many balls are remaining. But on this occasion, to see both teams leave the pitch and then the umpires coming and calling them back on for one more delivery.
Well, even the bowler, like Craig Young, had 4 for, and he could have possibly 5 for. He surely would have known that he's actually bowled just a 5. Really strange at this level to see that happen. That's the first ball run off the bat. Doherty off the mark. Slightly embarrassing, I think, all round. This is your first class competition, IP20.
Very experienced umpires as well.
Exactly.
Most surprising for
Very
such
surprising.
an error.
That's down the leg side as well. It's clipped away. And first boundary in the reply. That ends the Manley over. 6 without loss. First 4 balls there were all dots. This one, though, down the leg side, bit of a gift.
Well, even without any bat on it, running away for 4-leg byes. It's just the sort of start that Northwest Warriors would have wanted. We were talking about the possibility of a maiden.
Well, I was.
Graham Hume.
I can't put you in with the same bracket as mine. I said 4 dot balls and the possibility. But of course, there were still 2 balls to go, so I don't want to be lumping him in with that. Anyway, the end of the first over, 6 without loss. Five of those runs are extras. Quick signal here. Tyrone came with a shy of the stumps. They might come back for the second. There's a bit of a fumble from those backing up. Liam McCarthy on.
Well, Liam McCarthy, he plays his cricket just across the road from us here over in Railway Union. Would have had too much of a journey to get to the ground today, I suspect.
He doesn't live over there, though.
No.
That's a good start from McCarthy as well. Forced a quick single from his first delivery in that one. Just backed up the batsman. Doherty still to get off the mark.
Well, there's a bit of overcast conditions here at the moment. Unlike yesterday where it was one cloud covering what seemed to be the whole country. It's more broken up today.
Down the track he comes and forces that into the covers. And it's going to roll down towards the pavilion. And second boundary then of this reply. And the first one from the bat. And Doherty gets off the mark. A nice shot.
On this occasion, Doherty comes down the track, plays it under his feet. Lovely shot through the covers, down towards the pavilion.
Oh, it's kind of beaten everybody. Oohs and ahs, and it thumps into the advertising hoardings away to our right-hand side. Beat everybody. Doherty got something on that.
Just enough of the inside edge. Flew away to the boundary.
Lots of heads and hands and oohs and ahs after that one. That fairly flew to the boundary and just missed his leg stump. Again, he's done exactly the same thing, almost chopped on.
Well, they say fortune favours the brave, in which case he's a very brave batsman because he's really riding his luck there with the inside edge. McCarthy must be wondering what he has to do to just get past that edge.
Well, they've changed the field. They've dropped short flying down deeper, and they put in a backward point. And McCarthy immediately calling up backward point. Slip in place as well. And that's exactly where it goes to Tyrone Kane. It's good thinking from McCarthy. He was slightly unfortunate. 2 brilliant deliveries in that over. Didn't get a wicket. As it is, it's 15 for none off 2.
Well, on the board, it looks like an excellent start for the Northwest Warriors. However, when you think that 4 of those runs were leg byes the previous over, and then these 2 inside edges for another 2 boundaries, and that's 12 of the 15 runs without being overly convincing. Slip in place now. All these edges giving hope to the Munster Reds.
Backward point as well. Manley continues from our end, the commentary box end, or the given official title, St. John's End. Again, you can hear the wind whipping across our effects mic here, blowing across the ground now at this stage, so from left to right as you're looking at it. That's good running. Drop and run. Ben White's a long way to come to collect that. Backhands it towards the stumps. It's a big total, 184, Craig, so Got to take these runs as they come.
Well, the Munster Reds will be delighted at having reached 183 up from their 20 overs. They were put into bat. The expectation was that it was going to be a bowler's wicket first thing this morning. It hasn't really been borne out.
Munster ends there, the previous 50 over champions. Leinster Lightning have lost their crown to the Knights. The game, the Knights game and all the other games yesterday, the two of them abandoned because of the weather conditions, and as a result the Knights are the champions. Our congratulations to them. That's down the leg side over the shoulder of the batter. That's one for the over, I'd say. Yeah, he's not going to be considered as a wide. That's well bowled from Manley, who's started at pace here. Getting a little lift.
Manley doing very well here from the St John's end. He's causing problems for the batsman.
Still the slip in place. Charging down the track. It's Doherty. Can't get anything on that. And straight through to the wicketkeeper.
As it ended up, he did well not to get anything on it. He was just waving the bat, holding the bat out. Could easily have just taken an edge. And there's a slip in place as well as the keeper.
PJ Moore is their captain and wicketkeeper. Oh, again, it's swing and a miss. It's Doherty anxious to get on with it. It's two good deliveries, two dot balls, important at this stage of the innings. As we end the third, it's 16 without loss.
That's a super couple of overs from Joshua Manley. Just 3 runs from 2 overs. That's exactly the sort of ideal start for the Munster Reds in the field. McCarthy now will continue.
Umpires incidentally today, Steve Wood. Standing at the bowler's end. And Paul Reynolds. That's square leg. All sorts of movement going on there from Doherty, wicket keeper, opening the batting along with Doherty.
Well, he went well outside off stump to try and loft it round the corner. But McCarthy saw him coming, followed him out there, got it past him.
Good stuff, McCarthy. This just the 9 runs so far. He's worried the batsman too. Short fine. Short third. Slip is still in place as well. Again, another dot ball. 184 seems an awful long way of the way at the moment. Still have time. Don't want to get bogged down though. This opening pair. It's 3 dot balls in a row from McCarthy. Manley too started well in his spell, beating the outside edge on a couple of occasions of the previous over too. So a bit of improvisation from Doherty didn't work in this over. This one's more orthodox and it just beats the outside edge. I think he actually pulled the bat away when the ball had gone through.
Things going very well for Munster today. despite losing the toss and being put in. They've set a stiff total for the Northwest Warriors. Now their opening bowlers doing their best to make it even more difficult.
This is good, intelligent bowling from McCarthy. Batsman had to duck underneath that. 5 dot balls in a row for McCarthy's second over. Pressure building, and then now decided to change in the field. Slips coming out. He's going in saving one on the leg side. And he's bowled him. A wicket maiden. Well, we did say that it was a rare maiden from Graham Hume in the Munster Reds innings. Now we've got a wicket maiden. That's another rare thing in T20 cricket. McCarthy strikes at the end of the fourth over, 16 for 1. Doherty gone for 8.
Oh yes, wicket maiden. Hen's teeth rarity. But on this case, Doherty, the architect of his own downfall. We saw him earlier dancing over to the offside to try and lift. He tried it again here. All he could do was edge it onto the stumps, and McCarthy picks up his first wicket. First wicket down for the Northwest Warriors with 16 on the board.
Very good start for the Reds. Early pressure applied. 16 runs on the first 4 overs. Doherty gone for 3. Jared Wilson is in next. He was very busy in the Reds innings. Dropped a catch, took a couple of catches as well, and is expensive in his 3 overs. Went for 43. So he'll be looking for a bit of redemption here, perhaps. We're live from Sydney Parade. Sandyman to Dublin. ICC.tv. Craig Senior and John Kenny with you as we're going to change the bowling now from the St. John's end, and Slip is back in place. Brian McDonough is bowling. That's a wide.
Well, this was the enforced change on the Munster Reds. Kean Egerton injuring his shoulder on Tuesday. Fielding over by the wall. Saved the boundary. Not his shoulder, though. That brought Brian McDonough into the side.
Is that the way you pronounce this? Is it McDonough? It's unusual spelling of McDonough. D-O-N-O-U-G-H. Anyway, he's bowling from the St. John's end. Wearing 15. That's gone downtown. Nice swing of the bat from Doherty. And he's paid the price for just over pitching it right into the batsman's arc. A lovely maximum over Paul Reynolds' head.
Just how quickly the batsman realised he could have this on length, and he did. Kept it quite straight in reply. It disappeared over the boundary.
He needed that, didn't he? Get some momentum into this innings. Down the track he comes, and it's gone through the covers. And it's gone all the way for 4, all along the ground. Despairing dive from short extra, but it beats him, and straight down the hill for 4. So 10 runs from the last 2 deliveries, but that was one of the shots of the day, that. Beautiful.
Threaded the needle through the field. Reached the boundary in quick time. Bit of length from the bowler on this occasion. You can see that run rate required in double figures already.
Despite the concession of 10 runs in the last 3 deliveries, it is a good start for the Reds. And a good finish as well from McDonough. Dot ball, important. That run rate is at 10.47. They were 5 down, 27 for 1.
Well, just 1 over left in this power play. Munster Reds in their power play, reaching 46 for 1. As they slowly started to accelerate. Now the Northwest Warriors, well, this 1 over remaining. Captain PJ Moore having a word with his bowler. McCarthy, after a wicket maiden, gets taken out of the attack. Seems a little unfair.
It's slightly harsh, it's right. But he will be back. Just mixing them up. A lot of these days you see in T20 cricket. You don't bowl your 4 overs straight through. Captains like to just mix things up. Doherty on 18 from 16. Wilson yet to get off the mark. In fact, that was 1 to him in this first ball of this Mikey Frost over.
And again, it's probably a smart idea, taking the pace off the ball for this last over of the power play. Try and get the batsman to try and force stuff, overhit the ball.
Flipped. Oh. Yeah, who's and ahs from here as well. Attempted diving catch. But a scuttle away to the boundary. It's fortunate. Flipped off the legs by Doherty. Takes it to 22, but he could have perished.
Certainly wasn't a million miles away from Murray Cummins fielding just behind square leg. Big dive put in.
Down the track they come, and that one, he reached the pitch of the ball very nicely there, the Doherty, and no chance for Cummins this time. Flew over his head before he actually put his hands up and went like a rocket to the fence.
Frost straying onto the leg side, feeding the shot. Another boundary. Doherty's obviously decided not to let Frost settle at all.
Change the field. There's hung on. Push back. Drops it short. And fields off his own bowling. That's Frost, dot ball. A couple of 4s in the previous 2 deliveries. This will be the end of the power play now. Things are brightening up overhead, thankfully. It's feeling just a touch warmer. And there's good bowling as well. It's another dot ball. That ends the 6th over. 36 for 1 now. Sean Hussey and Stephen Alkin will take over for the next 7.
Thank you, John and Craig. Yes, a quiet start to the Warriors' reply. Doherty doing his best to push things along, 26 off 21. Jared Wilson just new to the crease. Could be a very interesting match, this, Sean.
Yeah, I just think the Northwest now, they're going to have to get a wiggle on. Out of the power play. Stephen Doherty struggled in there, getting dismissed. Facing a wicket made. Seems like he'd lost his confidence. Liam Doherty's played well for 26. But that run rate's up at 10.5 now.
Could be a couple there, but no, they've decided just on the one. Jared Wilson not risking that second run. So Doherty on 26. Wilson, 2 from his 2 deliveries. And young Byron McDonough getting a chance for Munster here in the absence of Cian Egerton, who's out injured. Great to see a young lad from Cork County getting an opportunity to play for his province. Still that fresh wind blowing down the ground from the nursery end. That one just played backward up square, and it's just going to be a single to Doherty this time. Good solid start to his innings. They need a big knock from somebody, and it might as well be Liam Doherty.
Yeah, we spoke earlier about getting set on this kind of conditions with the art bowler friendly conditions, particularly with the newish ball. Liam Doherty has to kick on now.
That was beautifully struck through the covers. Fine shot from Jared Wilson, his first boundary. Moves him to 6.
Really powerful shot from Jared Wilson. Strong base. Flash of the hands. Beats the outstretched dive of Murray Cummins at extra cover. Welcome boundary.
Slightly uppish, but very well hit. Right off the middle. Good ball from McDonough. Right on the spot that time. They know what their target is. I think the important thing for the Warriors is they don't feel like they have to score 10 and over right from the start. The runs will come if they keep their wickets intact. I think too often players feel like they have to score quickly right from the very first ball. That's a good over from McDonough. Just 6 from it, none for 17 for him off his 2. 27 to Doherty, 6 to Wilson, 42 for 1 off 7.
But in saying that, Stephen, you don't want that required run rate sky high, and got to try and control it. And the Northwest Warriors, that's, I know they've got wickets in hand, but they will still very much be keeping an eye on the required run rate. As soon as that starts going up above 11.5 and towards 12, then it starts getting a little bit out of control. The longer you can keep it around the 10 mark, the happier the Northwest Warriors will be.
Ben White coming on to bowl from the nursery end. Just 1 over of spin from that end from Mike Frost. He went for 9 runs. Now Ben White's turn. Good ball, well played, and they're going to take 2 here. Good running by the Warriors. 2 to Doherty.
Yeah, really good cricket by Liam Doherty, because extra cover is a little bit wide because they're trying to protect that short boundary. So clever from Doherty.
Nice delivery from White. Really confused the batter. Didn't know whether to go back or go forward. He got stuck in his crease.
Well, he's not a huge turner of the ball, Ben White. So sometimes subtle variations just trick the batter a little bit.
Nicely hoisted away on the reverse sweep. Another boundary to Doherty.
Clever cricket from Liam Doherty. Just be finding his feet. Confidence growing. That's a wonderful shot. An immediate change in the field from the Munster Reds. That's what that shot does. A gap now in mid-wicket where he can look to push ones into twos.
Sun peeping through the clouds. And he's gone. Beautiful ball from White. Doherty came on the charge. Beaten all ends up. And the stumping by PJ Moore means that the Warriors have lost their second wicket, and a very important wicket too. Doherty was looking set, but now the Warriors in trouble. 48 for 2 off 7.3.
Yeah, brilliant bowling from Ben White. This is the quicker delivery that does for Liam Doherty. Coming down the wicket. Just see Ben White. Very, very clever. Keeping his eye on Liam Doherty. Bowled a little bit quicker. And good work from PJ Moore. And Liam Doherty has to go for 33. Stumped off the bowling of Ben White. And Northwest Warriors need a partnership.
Jared Wilson, new to the crease. He's only got 6, and it's Scott Macbeth who's come in at number 4. Yeah, Warriors need somebody to really come and boss the bowling. But with 2 down, early in their reply. It's another good delivery from White, flighting it up and beating Macbeth. That's very good bowling. They get the single. Scott Macbeth just playing it down to backward point. He'll keep the strike. And at the end of 7 overs, 49 for 2. The end of 8 overs, rather. 49 for 2. Just over 6 and over. The required rate has slipped up to 11.25, chasing that target of 184.
Yeah, well, look what that run rate required is now. Up and above 11. So you always have to try and keep that in control. And that's what saw the rash shot, maybe, if you like, from Liam Doherty. If that run rate required is at around 8 or 9, maybe you don't see that shot. But once it goes above 10.5, you see batters do strange things. He looked like he was putting Ben White under a little bit of pressure by playing that switch hit over backward point, changing the field, but then gets the wicket next ball, Ben White. Quite interesting the pace he was bowling. Seemed to be bowling a little bit quicker there, Ben White. But good bowling from him.
Mike Frost switching ends, coming on from the St. John's end, and this is clever use of the bowlers by PJ Moore. I think there's a lot in this wicket for the spin bowlers. There's not much pace in the track. It means the batsmen have to really create the pace on the ball. And that's a great start to this over by Frost.
And there's no surprise that Frost is bowling now by PJ Moore, recognising where that run rate required is, recognising it's Wilson and Macbeth. Mike Frost, one of the most economical bowlers, particularly spin bowlers in the interprovincial game. Normally very canny and very clever.
Got a shot that time in the misfield by Cummins at cover. Ball just jumping up on him. A couple of runs here. for Scott Macbeth. He goes to 3. 50 up for Northwest Warriors, but it's come in the 9th over. Munster Reds were 51 for 1 off 6.5.
Well, this is where it's a brilliant time for a spin bowler to bowl in a T20 when that run rate required is high. All you're thinking about is cutting out the boundary option. That's what your team needs you to do. Ones are absolutely fine. Frost won't mind that whatsoever. It's all about the boundary option here, drying that up. That's why PJ Moore has brought Frost.
Mike Frost's second over. Left armour, and that's straight to Cummins in the covers. No run. And with every dot ball, that run rate required keeps rising. Super over from Mike Frost, just 3 off it. And after 9 overs, it's Wilson on 6, Macbeth on 4, 52 for 2, the Warriors. And that target of 184, a long way away.
Terrific bowling from Frost. Just 3 from that over. You can see the Northwest Warriors well behind the game. Munster Reds, when Ali Frost and Tyrone Kane, that's where they were at the moment when that partnership was just building. Worth nearly 100. And Ali Frost was outstanding with the bat, and his brothers doing a good job with the ball for the Munster Reds.
12 per over is now the asking rate, and they continue this time with the spin of Ben White. Cut away by Macbeth, but there's cover on the boundary, just a single. Into the 10th over now. After 9 overs, the Reds were 64 for 3. Well, that was the start of that partnership that really changed this game. Tyrone Kane, mostly Alistair Frost with a fabulous knock of 83. Wide call for that ball down the leg side. Ben White very quickly getting through his overs. Rushing the batsman here. And again, it's just a single. Wilson goes to 7. Macbeth back on strike, 55 for 2. Shorter delivery, pulled away, but there's a man on the boundary. It's Murray Cummins. And again, it's just a single. This is what you were saying, that the singles are taking the game away from the Warriors. It's boundaries they need. Might get one here, that one running away, but it's well saved. And just a couple of runs this time.
Well, as I said, this is a good time for spin bowlers to bowl. Spin bowlers love having that luxury of a high run rate required, putting the pressure and the onus all on the batting side. The boundaries have well and truly dried up here.
That was shorter, and it was down the leg side. Batsmen have gone through, but it's a wide anyway, so an extra delivery here for the Warriors. Just 7 off this over so far. And that's going to be just a single to Scott Macbeth, who will keep the strike at the end of the 10th over. White 1 for 16 off his 2 overs. Wilson on 9. Macbeth on 7. 61 for 2 after 10. Good play by the Munster Reds so far. Good captaincy by PJ Moore. And the bowlers are contributing here to making this run chase very difficult for the Warriors.
Yeah, it's clever captaincy. It's not really reinventing the wheel. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary. What they're saying to the Northwest Warriors, well, if you're going to try and find the boundary, you might well have to go over the rope. We're not going to give you anything too easy. We'll be clever with our bowling changes. As I said, Mike Frost will be loving this, knowing the two batters have to come and attack him. They haven't got really any fluidity in their play already. They're going to have to try and add a little bit of impetus here. And all spin bowlers will love this.
Frost to continue. Two left arm spinners in the attack for the Reds. And again, it's just a single to Wilson. Just one boundary between these two batters. And they're not going to win this match with ones and twos, that's for sure. Slightly quicker delivery. Clever.
Yeah, hiding it outside the off stump as well. Not giving anything for Wilson to hit leg side with the wind towards the wall.
There's the hit. And there's a fielder there, but it's just over his head. And the signal is a one bounce boundary. Good hit by Wilson, but almost hold out to the fielder out at drag.
Yeah, well, they're going to need plenty more of them. It's a rare poor delivery from Frost. I think he thought that Wilson might have preempted he was going wide, so tried to mix it up, not be predictable.
Josh Manley might have caught that if he was right out on the line. And Mike Frost just deciding to reset here. And that's straight down the ground. And a good bit of fielding by Ben White at mid-on. So just a single again for the Northwest Warriors. Wilson moving to 14. Macbeth back on strike. Straight to the fielder, Liam McCarthy at backward point. No run there. The end of Mike Frost's third over. Oh, one ball to go. My apologies. Yeah, that was the fifth of the over. That's another good over from Mike Frost. Just needs to finish it off here. And he hasn't. That's gone many a mile. A good hit there by Macbeth. His first maximum takes his score to 14 off 12 deliveries. The score to 73 for 2 at the end of 11. Frost has none for 24 in his 3 overs.
Yeah, this is a wonderful shot from Scott Macbeth. A rare again, poor delivery. Flights it up there. Should be trying to get out of the over. And allow Scott Macbeth to free his arms. Powerful shot. Goes all the way. Two boundaries in that over for the Warriors. That's what they need. Need plenty more of it.
A change of bowling at the nursery end, and it's going to be Byron McDonough coming down the wind this time. Very much the wind at his back. He's already bowled a couple of overs. And it's Wilson on strike. And a big improvement in the scoring rate required here for the Warriors. Good fielding by Tyrone Kane. Probably stopped a boundary there.
Yeah, that's a brilliant piece of fielding, because Mike Frost would have had a difficult task in his hands running around from deep cover if it did beat the backward point. That's why so often your best fielders are in that position. Tyrone Kane's running from long off to long off for the spinners. And then as soon as the pace comes back into the attack, he's there at backward point. I think if you're the Warriors, I think you may well be trying to target this over for McDonough, try and get a bit of life into the chase. It just seems to be drifting from them.
It's straight down the ground. There's a gap there, but it doesn't have enough pace on it to reach the boundary. Just the single again for Wilson. 15 to him, 14 to Scott Macbeth. Both these batters are in now. They've just got to increase the tempo if they're to give their side any chance.
Yeah, there's plenty of batting to come. McBride, Getgate, McClintock.
Pulled into the mid-wicket gap. Good fielding out there by Ali Frost to save the second run.
And again, you can see what Munster Reds are doing. They're targeting bowling straight to these two, making them hit to the big boundary against the breeze.
Over the top, nice shot that. And just, I think, bouncing before the rope, was it? No, it's actually carried the whole way. A maximum to backward point. Jared Wilson goes to 21. Just what the Warriors would have wanted.
Yeah, poor delivery with, and with the field set the way it is into the short boundary. That's a poor delivery. Good shot from Wilson.
And he's pulled this one away, and it's all the way for another maximum. Two great hits from Wilson, just adding some impetus to this Warriors innings.
Yeah, well, in the last 2 overs now, they've had 2 boundaries in either one. I think the length is just a little bit too predictable. Clears the front leg, Jared Wilson. All the way over, long on.
So Wilson moves to 27. And that's a nice late shot, but brilliantly fielded at backward point by Tyrone Kane to save the run. That's the end of the 12th over. 14 coming from it. It's one of the first times the run rate required has dropped ever so slightly. Wilson on 27, Macbeth on 15, 87 for 2 off 12. And an interesting change here from PJ Moore. He's bringing Liam McCarthy back. McCarthy, who has 1 for 9, including that wicket maiden in his second over, but bowling this time from the St John's end and into the breeze.
Yeah, I think the Munster Reds will recognise they're maybe 1 or 2 good overs away from having a real stranglehold on this one. So that's why McCarthy, one of the strike bowlers, is back into the attack.
Nicely firmly hit, but there's a cover out there and just a single for Macbeth, who goes to 16. Jared Wilson, he's the main threat for the Reds. Those 6s in the last over, pushing his scoring rate along. Their run rate has gone up to 7.23, still over 12 required though. Full toss. And that's straight to the fielder at backward point. Tyrone Kane again.
Yeah, gets away with it, McCarthy. Full toss outside off. Again, so important that position, backward point. Actually going to see a change in the field from PJ Moore. Tyrone Kane is going to go from backward point to traditional cover in the ring, and the fielder at deep cover is going to deep backward point. Third man in the circle.
Ali Frost back there on the boundary. That's a good delivery from McCarthy. Lots of pace, good line. Every dot ball absolutely huge here for the Reds.
Well, it's a bit of a double bluff from Liam McCarthy because he goes full into the block hole, and if he misses it, because of the field, no one deep on the offside in front to square, would have been a scoring chance there from Jared Wilson. So he had to nail the Yorker, and he did.
This one's shorter and pulled away. It's only going to be a single though, because Ben White's onto it really quickly, and he fires it into wicketkeeper Moore. So just the single to Wilson. Score goes to 89 for 2. And just 2 off this McCarthy over so far. Producing some very good bowling here, Liam McCarthy. Short this time, that's the commentator's curse. It's away over the wall at deep square leg for 6. Fine maximum from Scott Macbeth. He moves to 22.
Yeah, wonderful batting. The ball actually just seems to sit up nicely for Macbeth in the arc. And it's out the park. There's going to be a new ball needed. Just think Liam McCarthy might have missed a trick, trying to keep that ball outside the off stump. Instead, it was in the eye line of Scott Macbeth. That's his second 6.
Yeah, Macbeth 16 off 14. Wilson 28 off 21. It seems quite good, but it's not good enough. Chasing a target of 184. They've still need 89 more runs. Lots of wickets in hand, but coming to the end of the 13th over, it's going to take something extraordinary from the Northwest Warriors if they're to get the maximum points here in this match.
Well, it's good from the Northwest either way, because traditionally you'd have seen Andy McBride come in by now. And obviously with the Northern Knights having the title secured, and there's very much a deep rubber, a dead rubber rather. They're giving it to Scott Macbeth and saying to him, try and win us the game early on in his Inter-Pro career. Still very much a young man.
The diving Cummins stopping the run there, though I thought the batters could have taken a single. Very conservative running between these two so far. That's the... Well, according to the scoring, there's a ball left in this over. So McCarthy at the end of his 3 overs, 1 for 17, 95 for 2 off 13 overs. And it's Ben White to continue from the nursery end. Bowling to Jared Wilson. Another dot ball, that run rate up around 12.5 now.
Yeah, here comes the pressure now. Something may have to give.
Good shot straight down the ground. I think that's Tyrone Kane again, who has fielded superbly so far for the Munster Reds. And just a couple for Jared Wilson that time.
Yeah, terrific fielding from Tyrone Kane. He may well be one of the best in the business, certainly in the Irish interprovincial game. Like George Dockrell and Harry Tector, but that long on, it's very much your better fielders.
That one was in the slot, but Wilson couldn't quite time it. Kane is there, just a single.
Yeah, but it's clever from Ben White, just tossing that one up.
Just a slight problem with our scoring system. It'll catch up eventually. This time it's hit to drag and it's right between the fielders. Ali Frost sends it back in. Just 1 to Macbeth.
Yeah, that run rate required is now well over 12.5. No boundary in this over so far from Ben White. Very cleverly trying to toss it up, tempt them into a dismissal.
Straight down the ground, but straight to Kane. Funny how the ball always seems to go to the best fielder in the team, or one of the best fielders for sure.
Well, you think about where the ball has gone in this over. Cow corner and long on, and Ali Frost and Tyrone Kane are there. And it's not by coincidence, because every team knows that's some of the most important areas, particularly to the leg spin.
So that's the end of the 14th over. Northwest Warriors just trundling along with ones and twos. It's not enough to get them back into the match. They've got a big total to chase here. And the Munster Reds bowling well so far.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Stephen. Craig Senior and John Kenny in now for the conclusion of this game. Munster Reds 183 for 9, so 184 required for victory. They're 101 for 2. Jared Wilson on 32 after a slow start, off 25, and Scott Macbeth is on 24 off 18. The run rate, it's still pretty high. Well, Craig, if they're going to get close, they're going to have to get a few boundaries here.
They are. These two well set now. They've put on a 50 partnership.
In the air. It's going to drop short, though.
Well, you can see the Northwest are really searching for boundaries now. We're seeing these big shots coming out. Some of them successfully, others not quite as much. The Reds are doing a good job here. Well ahead on the comparison anyway.
Josh Manley into his third over now. He's only conceded 4 runs. Dot balls are important here. Ooh, that wasn't the greatest of fielding. Straight through his legs.
Well, we come into the final few overs of this fifth scheduled game of this festival.
Slower delivery, and Paul Reynolds considered that for a moment and stuck the hands out. It's a wide ball, one to the total, and an extra ball must be bowled. 104 for 2 now, in the pursuit of 184. 80 of 34. That is a big ask. Still, they've got 8 wickets in hand, so they're going to have to decide when they're going to go. It's not going to be in this over. Josh Manley's bowling really well. Oops. And the batsman left that one alone, and wisely so, because it's yet another wide. Just straying a little bit, Manley here. Over pitching it just a little bit. And the umpires will be punishing it. If anything is outside that blue line, that's gone straight down the ground. And there is a fielder down there just to cut that off. Ben White.
Oh, Ben White has been busy in that position at long on, as the Northwest Warriors trying to take on the bowling. But their bowlers are being backed up well by their fielders at the moment. Balls that boundaries prevented.
Yeah, wickets at this stage are not important. It's a case of cutting off that supply to the boundary ropes. Making sure the ball doesn't get past you. It's very fundamental right in cricket, especially if you're trying to prevent the team from creeping up behind you and getting to that total. Make sure that the ball stays in the field. That's slower. That's another one which is deemed to be a wide. A little unlucky. Lee McCarthy's actually standing in front of us. Said unlucky Josh. Trying to put in a slower delivery there, but umpire Paul Reynolds decided that's the third wide of the over.
Yeah, a bit more bounce perhaps than Manley wanted there. Clearing the batsman with ease.
Manly now looking to get out of this over. That's coming down to McCarthy, should take it. Yeah, straight down the throat of Liam McCarthy, who took it well, actually, stung his fingers. He's still shaking them as he comes in to congratulate the bowler. Manley stuck to his task there well, and as a result, he gets his first wicket, and that is in the 15th over, 107 for 3 now.
Well, a good partnership of 59 between Wilson and Macbeth. But Wilson, well, he'd seen the slower ball bouncer, the delivery before, and on this occasion, the low full toss, and all he could do was power it down the wicket where Liam McCarthy was waiting. Took the simple catch. As much as it's a wicket down, it's another dot ball. Jared Wilson, well, he hit a couple of big blows, a couple of sixes, a couple of fours, but never really got going. And that brings now Shane Getgate to the wicket. And he's got a big task in front of him now.
As for a duck, so he's on a golden pair in this game. In his first match, out for naught. Out from Estonians, Irish international, South African born. He just try perhaps get back into the Irish team with important matches to come. Ireland, we know, didn't qualify for the 50 over World Cup, but their T20 team is there. West Indies and the United States next year. There's still plenty of cricket to be played now. Between now and the end of the year, they got 3 T20 internationals against the world's #1 ranked Indian side. They gave a bit of a fright to a couple of years ago. That's 3 games in Malahide coming up in a week or so's time. And they travel to the UK when they're playing 3 one-day internationals against England. And we still have T50 interprovincial matches to come as well. So busy time for these players. Trying to showcase their talents as well in this particular arena. Catch the eye of the selectors. It's in the air. Should be out. No, yes. Well, I was thinking that would not be caught. Brilliantly caught, though. Is that Kane down there?
That's Ford.
It's Ford. Matt Ford. Well, Kane usually is down there, but it was Matt Ford who came in off the boundary. He had to readjust himself before diving forward. The South African taking that beautifully. And, well, that's the end of Macbeth. And that's a beautiful catch. And the Warriors are now really on top.
Again, coming down the track, looking for the shot straight back over the bowler, but instead it came off the edge of the bat. And Matt Ford, once he'd made the adjustment to where the ball was going to be, safe pair of hands. And the 4th wicket falls with 108 on the board. Just 1 ball remaining now in this 15th over. Oh, that was the final ball of the 15th over. And the score 108 for 4. By comparison, the Munster Reds had reached 146 for 3 at this stage. And they went on to add another 39 runs in these final 5 overs. And that was enough to see them set this total. 184 the North West Warriors need. William McClintock, the new batsman.
Ben White to continue. That's in the air. And he's got to be caught. McClintock went for the big one first time out, and he punches his bat in frustration. It's actually Getgate gone, is it? Yeah, because the batsman had crossed. So Getgate gone for 1. McClintock came in at the non-striker's end. And Ben White gets another wicket, and they're starting to crumble here now, 108 for 5.
Well, in this over and the over before, 3 wickets have now fallen. And it's just a sign of the Well, not quite desperation, but not far off it either, of the Northwest Warriors to try and find the boundary rope. They're falling short at the moment.
Andy McBrien, the Northwest Warriors, comes in to join his Dunnamana teammate, William McClintock, in the middle. These two can score, we know. McBrien actually opens the batting for Ireland's 50 over side these days. You know, McClintock can hit a big ball, there's no doubt about that. The batsman had cross, as I said before. It was Getgate he was facing. Straight down the throat of the fielder. And the fifth wicket going on 108 now. And it's chopped nearly onto his stumps by the left-hander McBrien. And his first ball faced. Two Irish internationals facing each other. Ben White has... The man has changed his bowling actually. He used to be a medium pace bowler, but he's changed since he was a teenager to this leg breaks, and he's got a test cap to his name as well. It was against Afghanistan, I think it was. He played in that test match in India.
Not the easiest place for a leg spinner to make
Certainly
his debut.
Not, no. He's a fully placed Irish international now, though. White, that could be wide, yeah. Just straying a little bit on the offside.
Oh, for the leg spinner here, he's bringing the ball back into the left-hander. He's pitching it outside off, trying not to leave anything on the leg side for McBrien to...
Oh dear. There's another one gone. As soon as you were saying it, McBrien danced down the track at White, and BJ Moore whipped off the bails, and they're... well, we were on Nelson. My feet were in the air. I thought something was going to happen, and certainly it does. It's amazing. A lot of times when you see a team on 1-1-1, on Nelson as we call it, take a wicket, and this is how it felt.
Well, White taking advantage of the Northwest determination to hit boundaries. And once he missed the ball, Brian knew he might as well continue going in that direction. That's the 6th wicket down with Nelson on the board. 1-1-1. How often it works. So that's now 4 wickets in the last 2 overs.
And 3 for Ben White. Manley's taken a couple. McCarthy the other one to fall. And Graham Hume was next in. Fantastic bowling performance from Hume. And he also can bat, as we know. That's one's tickled around the corner, just a single. Yeah, a bit of welcome sunshine overhead now as well. It's cold outside. That wind is negating the temperature, which is about 15, 16 degrees. Any bit of sunshine just warms us up here. McClintock facing White now. Got to get on with it. You might as well lose the wickets and go down carrying your shield. Don't come home with it. Anyway, 113 for 6. That's the end of that over. 16 down, 4 to go. 71 for win, 24 deliveries. That's a monumental task.
Certainly is. And the loss of wickets certainly hasn't helped the Northwest Warriors. They had a couple of batsmen in and set. They were 107 for 2 and now 111 for 6. White picking up 2 wickets in that over, the 16th. After Manley had picked up a couple in the over before, and it really has taken the heart out of this reply now. Only question, I think, will be the margin of victory.
Byron McDonough's going back on from our end, St. John's end.
Well, he came into the side to replace Cian Egerton, who suffered that fielding injury on Tuesday. But he's certainly making the most of it.
There's White's figures. 4 overs, no maidens, 3 for 27. Good effort. Very good effort from the leggy.
And to think leg spin nearly died out of the game because it was considered too expensive. It's since made such a comeback.
Tries to catch it. That's what they've done. They're plundering the batting here. It's McClintock gone for 2.
Well, you just can't keep Ben White out of the game. On this occasion, he's the one who takes the catch. Another wicket falls. And this reply now, well, if it was a difficult task before, it's just been made slightly more difficult as McDonough picks up his first wicket.
Slightly. I think you're underplaying that one. Just a touch. Good catch. Sounds himself well. Cup the hands. And McClintock's gone for 2. Caught by White, Noel Manley and Ryan Macbeth of Brigade. Scott is his brother. Earlier on. Caught forward bowl Manley. Manley got the last wicket as well of William McClintock. The writing's on the wall here, really.
5 wickets for 6 runs. That's how they've been going the last few. Well, if the game was a bit closer, you felt that Tyrone Kane would have let that one go at the bowler's end. But with the match situation the way it is, just held on to it, allowed the Northwest to go through for the single.
That was McDonough's first wicket. A little expensive early on, the Cork youngster. I'll be delighted to get that wicket. And one change from the match on Tuesday. So Human Macbeth needing 70 off 22, which is the 3 wickets in hand. Stifled appeal, and the run through for the leg bye.
Well, most of the appeal came from PJ Moore behind the sticks. The bowler wasn't too interested. But again, that required run rate now, well, it's well over 18 anyway. It'll take some spectacular finish to this game for the Northwest to come out with a victory. And at the moment, the Munster Reds aren't giving them the deliveries to launch an attack.
Now, they're going to have to manufacture this, but it's too little too late. 68 from 20. And impossible. McDonough's bowled really well, and this is 4th over. A wicket, a leg bye, and 2 singles. It's exactly what the doctor ordered. Down on one knee. Again, it's just be the single. They might come back for the second. No, they won't. That's good fielding down there, just to keep it to a single.
Nice bowling from McDonough as well. Slower ball. Deliberately trying to tempt the batsman. He did loft it out in the offside. But just a single down to some fine fielding from Ali Frost there on the offside boundary.
That's in the air. There'll be another cry of catch it.
And another catch for Ben White.
Well, he's certainly a contender for man of the match now. Player of the match. Indeed. White snaps another. And McDonough 2-4 in that over, which ends the 17th. And writing on the wall now, 117 for 8.
Well, this has been some collapse by the Northwest Warriors. Moving from that position of 107 for 2, 10 runs later, they're 8 down. Craig Young, the 10th batsman to come to the middle for the Northwest Warriors. Well, this has been a good all-round performance. The only thing the Munster Reds seem to have done wrong so far is lose the toss. They lost the toss and they were put in on the back of a fabulous 83 from Ali Frost. They set a target for the Northwest Warriors of 184, just over 9 and over. Well, they never really got on top of that, never started bringing that down, and now, since that partnership of 59 for the third wicket, it's all gone downhill for them.
Sliced away. Good stop too. Matt Ford bowling now. It's first time we've seen him. First over in this Warriors reply.
This is Frost bowling, despite what it's telling you on the screen.
I was thinking, you don't see Ford bowling these days. It's actually Frost. Right. On that nursery end of the ground. Hume on 3. Young yet to score. 65 required. That is miles in the air. There's 2 descending upon it down there, but they're not able to cut that off. And that's gone for a boundary. One hop? No. It's the maximum.
Well, Graham Hume just waited on that one. Then found the boundary. 2 fielders converging, but not enough room. And he goes for the same shot again.
Same result. Another 6. He can bowl. And now we know he can bat. 12 from the last 2. Waited on that very nicely. Picked it up. Pumped it down to the leg side for the maximum. 13 from this over so far.
Well, 2 sixes in a row. Force captain and wicketkeeper Moore to go down and have a word with his bowler.
53 from 13. He's going to retain the strike now. Graham Hume. Although it does say Ford on your screen there. That was Mikey Frost wrapping up his 4th over. Expensive one. 14 from it. He's gone for 38 from his 4. It didn't take a wicket.
Well, Murray Cummins holding the ball at the moment next to the wicketkeeper, next to the umpire, but I suspect not because he's going to bowl.
One or 2 spits and spots of rain lingering about, but I think the cloud is sufficiently high and it's breaking up above us to give us a clear run to the end of this game, and hopefully it should be all right for the final match of this IP20 festival. Warriors against the Reds, Knights against the Lightning will be the one to wrap things up at 3:30 Irish time. Knights crowned the IP20 champions without playing a game yesterday. Congratulations to them. Good, strong, powerful side.
Well, Moore has used his bowlers exceptionally well. Just used the 5 so far. This is Manley with his 4th over.
I'm going to say very economical from his 3 overs so far. 2 for 10, but the first ball is greeted with a smack through the covers from Hume. A couple of 6 in the previous over, and now it's gone all the way to the boundary for 4. Lovely shot. Nice follow through. You're going to cut that off. 48 from 11. 2 wickets in hand. Hume 20 off 9. Paddles that one round the corner. That could be a wide, or did it come off the leg? Yeah, no run there, so it's another dot ball. Came off the leg. Now 10 fours off the 10 remaining balls. Still wouldn't be enough. And still 2 wickets at hand as well, so this one is over. Hume looking for the second. No, won't get it. Good fielding down there. Cuts that off. Matt Ford. Hume's been giving it a go. Craig Young has yet to face a ball. Here he is now, first time. Not a prolific hitter of the ball like Hume is. That's well bowled. Young stepped away from his crease. Slower delivery inside the blue line. And a dot ball.
Good change of pace from Manley there. He knows that Craig Young, he's looking to swing and swing early. So change of pace, threw the shot far too early. And although they take a single off that delivery, 46 from 7, well, that means that Northwest Warriors now require snookers. Not even 7 sixes gets them that.
I love it. Nice parlance, bringing another sport game of cricket. They're behind the yellow ball. Just the single to end that over then. That's the penultimate one, done and dusted. 19 down. And 139 for 8. So 6 balls remaining, 45 to win. Game over. Good spell from Manley too. Took 2 for 17 of his 4 overs. It's just exactly what they needed. Open the bowling, as did Liam McCarthy. McCarthy's going to wrap up the last over here. They've just used the 5 bowlers: Manley, McCarthy, McDonough, Frost and White. 1 for 17 so far from McCarthy. Took a smart catch as well down in front of us to get rid of Ryan Macbeth.
And most importantly, that wicket maiden as well in his second over.
A rarity.
Well, the Munster Reds, they won 1 game down in the Mardyke against Leinster. And it looks like they're going to wrap up their campaign with another win, this time against the Northwest. It's been a good all-round performance
Won't move them up the table. The Reds will have played 9. Northwest Warriors 9 as well, but they started with 18 points to 13. So they closed the gap to within 1, but they stay in 3rd place. Knights are already crowned the champions on 27 points from the 8 games that they've played. They're playing Leinster at 3:30 this afternoon. Leinster bottom of the pile. So it's going to be as you were. Even if Leinster win, it would move them as well onto 17, unless they get a bonus point victory. But the Knights are the champions. And the Munster Reds are going to wrap up their IP20 season with a victory here. That's in the air. There's 2-3 descending upon that, and the sweeper on the boundary comes in and just takes a nice smart catch, and that's the end of Craig Young, gone for 1.
Well, this game falling to a tame end now. Just a swing of the bat from Craig Young. Never looked like making the boundary. A smart, well set catch. That brings Cian Robertson as last man out to the wicket for the Northwest.
When you're in this position, there's a ball or two to go, you think, oh, please don't let me get out. Please don't let me get out there in the first place. You're only going to face 2 or 3 deliveries, and you're on hiding to nothing. And then you have to walk off, the ignominy of walking off the losing side. McCarthy looking for the last rights here. Graham Hume on 23. Wonder what he's going to do with this last ball now. Last ball. He's pulled it away, and he gets his 4 runs, and he remains undefeated on 27. But that's a comprehensive victory for the Munster Reds, who were asked to bat, made 183 for 9 in their 20 overs. And despite that little cameo at the end there, deserving victors over the Northwest Warriors, who made 145 for 9 in reply.
Well, as the players shake hands, it was no silverware on offer for either of these 2 sides, but the Munster Reds, well, they'll be delighted to have picked up a second win in this IP T20. 38 runs, the difference between the 2 teams, but it seemed, I don't know, it seemed more of a gap than just the 38 runs. And it was that bowling in the middle of the innings, 6 wickets falling in 3 overs, that really took the heart and the heat out of the Northwest Warriors.
So both teams coming onto the pitch now to congratulate each other. Munster Reds winning by 38 runs. They moved to within a point of Northwest Warriors, who remain in 2nd place on 18 points on the table, and that's where they probably will stay. Knights 27 points, can't be caught. They are the champions. Leinster against the Knights at 3:30 Irish time will be the game that will wrap things up here in Pembroke. Let's have a look at the first innings. The Reds were asked to bat, and they made a very good score, 183 off their 20 overs for 9 good performances there from Frost, who made 60 odd in his first game here. Carry that through with 83. Double half century for him. Kane backed him up with 30. 26 and Murray Cummins at the top of the order. A little bit of a collapse there towards the end, but they were just chasing runs because they had a nice platform at that stage. But 183 for 9, 184 required for victory. Was really a tall order. Here's the bowling figures.
Well, Craig Young, the pick of those, is 4 for 26. But there was a few that went and received a lot of tap. Andy McBride coming on for 1 over, bowled round the wicket and then conceded 21 runs there. The other wicket takers, Robertson, well, he got 2 for 31, and Hume, he bowled so well at the top of the innings, and he ended up with 2 for 16. Macbeth, 1 for 45. So, chasing a total of 184 for victory.
This is the Warriors card. Doherty went early. Doherty, Jared Wilson built something. Macbeth chipped in with 26, but towards the end of the innings there, you could see Gedgate, McClintock, McBride, Macbeth, Young, all going for 1s and 2s. Hume had this little cameo of 27 from 15, but not enough.
PJ Moore doing a fabulous job of marshalling his bowlers. The wickets were spread around, but Ben White, 3 for 27 from his 4 overs. He was the right man at the right time. And then Manley at the top, 2 for 17 from 4 overs. Well backed up by McCarthy with his 2 for 23. And then Brian McDonough, he came into the side today and he picked up his first 2 senior wickets in the IP for 34 runs.
And there's your match summary. The Reds asked to bat, made 183 for 9. Andy Frost top scored an 83 from 39. The Warriors in reply, they never really got close, and the Munster Reds won by 38 runs. We will have our final match of the IP20 series here from Pembroke at 3:30 Irish time as the Leinster Lightning take on the Northern Knights. Do watch out for the Cricket Ireland social media pages. We will have an interview with our man of the match coming up on that. But for the moment, from the crew here in Pembroke Cricket Club in Sandymount in Dublin, until 3:30 Irish time, it's bye for now.